አንተ ገምታ
Find out what's new. Share your point of view on the world's greatest football league. Discuss, debate and chat around all things Premier League. No matter where you are. A show for the fans, by the fans.
Confidently like to see them win.
Took us all the way up. We won the league.
Fan Zone, every day of the week excluding Saturdays. Only on SuperSport. Proudly brought to you by Guinness.
And a very good morning from the capital city of the country that has the mystic churches of Lalibela, from which Christmas is going to be celebrated beginning this Friday, and that's the Ethiopian Christmas we're talking about. It's also a big day in Ethiopian football. It's a day when we have the ሸገር Derby. That's the derby of St. George and Ethiopia Coffee, the two biggest clubs in Ethiopia, also in Addis Ababa. The slang for Konjo, which is the Amharic word for beautiful, so you can translate it to the beautiful derby. The 41st time that the two clubs will be meeting in the league in its current form, and trying to cancel each other out, with obviously St. George having an upper hand on it. The weather, of course, is perfect for the game today. 20 degrees Celsius, the maximum we are expecting. Now that is nice for a game of soccer. It's been sunny since morning. That's why the fans have turned up in very good numbers. Incidentally, the club doesn't have jersey number 12. That is reserved in honor of the fans, so they never use it. In the 40 games that they have played, St. George have won it 18 times, and Ethiopia Coffee have won it 6 times. And then they have drawn it 16 times. So by the time they're coming into the match again, it will be a little bit of a norm for the St. George side, but the Ethiopia Coffee side will still be challenging for it. Ordinarily, this stadium would be full in those colors of yellow and maroon, if you'd like, burgundy, if you'd like. And also it would be colored in the deep Ethiopia Coffee colors of maroon and white. But in the absence of the fans at the stadium, they're just allowing now 12, not 10. It means that there's going to be noise coming from only those ones, and those are the ones that you are going to have to contend with here at the stadium. It doesn't take away anything from the derby. There's brilliant statistics around it, with some very good men on the field who have scored very important goals for the sides. But today, it will be a question of the 4th position's St. George, taking on the 2nd positioned Ethiopia Coffee. an array of referees have also been organized for this match, and I'll give you their credits in just one while. The very big men in the field with the big lady as well, who's just had a pass in her test for Chan, and will be refereeing on the Chan competition as well. So Lydia Abebe Tafese will be in there as well. So let's look at who they're going to be putting up at the front. So Getane Kebede, the man who still holds the record for the number of goals scored in Ethiopian League, is going to be up there at the front together with Abel Yeleo, who has already scored here for the St. George side, Ethiopia St. George side, are the men who are leading the charge up at the front. Now, three men will be out on the other side. Abel Kebede is one of them. Then there's Abubakar Naisere and Abtamu Tadese. They've all scored previously, with Abtamu probably having three. I think he scored two in one match as well. And he's going to be a man to be looked up to in the formation of 4-3-3 that Kasai Arage is going to be employing for this match. Kasai Arage himself, you know, is back in the club by public demand and by the fans' demand as well. The St. George side has a little bit of a defective, yeah, you can call it that, a defective substitute bench. On the other side, they've got a full bench with Ebel Mamo among them as well. There's a little change. Adis Gidea has gone to the bench for the St. George side, so that means there'll be a change up at the front and maybe in the way they are playing all together as well. But that's the story in terms of numbers. The men at the center. International referee Belai Tadese, a civil service director, is the man who's in charge of this game. He's going to be assisted by Kinde Musi, who's a sport kit provider and international assistant referee. And then Tesmegan Samuel, a lawyer, is assistant referee. And the fourth referee is Lydia Abebe Tafese as well, an international referee. Mahir Davids has made one change on his team today, and he said it's just because of the tack they want to use in today's game. It's not because there's anything with a player who has been substituted. No, it's not. On the other side then, it's going to be Arage Kasai. 15 years in the club that Arage Kasai has given in terms of service, and then he's back by public demand. We're going to have 1 minute silence in honor of the referee Alem Misebe, who has passed on. One minute of silence, and now the big moment comes on the ሸገር Derby in Addis Ababa. Arage Kasai back on the bench of the Ethiopia Coffee side by public demand after 15 years of service. He was ready to be leaving it, but the fans insisted that he comes back and takes over the running of the club, and he obliged. And has so far had them winning 3 of the 5 matches they have played. They're going to be playing match number 6 for them, because we are in week 6, and then they'll be taking a rest. On the other side, the St. George side is playing their 5th game, and then they'll have 1 more game before they take a rest. So the big question is usually on the statistics. We've had 73 goals scored so far in the derby, and the St. George side scored 49 of them, 24 from the other side. We're looking at very many goals in this game as well. And being brought to you live on your World of Champions for the first time in history, the Ethiopian Premier League, the ሸገር Derby is on your World of Champions with great anticipation on the field and off the field as well. The fans were seen milling around the Addis Ababa Stadium in readiness for this as well. The colors are obviously very nice and contrasting as well. 85 years that St. George is celebrating, and of course the founder of St. George is also the man who was the first CAF president. The Amharic commentators will take you the same. Marcos Elias and Haile Ziaber Danom will take you through 90 minutes of this in that Amharic language, and I will take you through it together with Coach Gilbert Celebwa to analyze it and find out what's going on. But it might be very quick action, end to end, Gilbert. The question is, what's the formation of either side, and how do you expect it then to impact on each of them, with them again getting a very quick run up at the front of Abubakar Naisere. A very, very technical player here, goes for a shot He's been given the captaincy that has stained him from that grandstanding that he was doing most of the time. But now he's got a chance to shine for real on your World of Champions. What do you make of it?
Well, that young man, number 10, donning number 10, Abu Bakr Nasser, I think he's also gunning for the golden boot, having scored 4 goals to his credit at this particular point. But tactically, both teams must bring out their best game, being a derby. And I want to tell you that defensively, it's going to be tight on both sides of the divide.
Okay. I still want to know the formation, which you forgot to tell me about as well. I think the anticipation here is a little bit too much as well. Is it a 4-3-3? Is it a 4-4-2?
St. George have actually changed the way they're playing. They're playing a 3-5-2, meaning that they have 3 men at the back and 5 in the middle, 2 at the top. That is Getane Kebede and Abel Yaleu. For Ethiopia Buna, they've not changed their style. They have the 4-3-3 formation, meaning at the top, you'll have Abubakar Haptamu, and Abel Kebede.
Right, so a clash of formations there as well, just to be able to keep possession of the ball. A big one down into the middle. And some good ball control. The shot is not a very hard one. It comes from a little bit of a distance and will not have much of an effect here on the front. It did come from Robin Neglande. He's scored 1 goal so far. And I can also assure you that the GK manual of Ethiopian football will probably be very evident in 2 of the most technical clubs, not only in Ethiopia, but most probably in Africa as well. They love to run the balls around and look for the spaces, play in the boxes, the ones the coach likes to call the grids, and look for a way out. And this is one moment where even if the ball comes to the box, you shouldn't get too excited until you see it in the net. There could be another tack that they're still going to be employing there. Looking at the statistics, Gilbert, the Georgia's side, which is attacking at the moment, heading the ball out. They lost their first game to a howler by the goalkeeper, but he has since rectified that, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has rectified it. They've actually scored 11 goals and conceded 5, having beaten Wasa 4-1, beating Dawa 3-1, and beating Sebeta 4-2. So in terms of scoring, they are very good moving forward. You look at the other team also, they have also scored 11 goals, that is Ethiopian Buna, but conceded 8. So in terms of scoring, they have no problem. We have problems defensively for both sides.
The Ethiopian Buna side has won 3 of their matches. Now, incidentally, if you're looking at the log, Hadi Osaina is on top of the log with 12 points. Ethiopia Buna has exactly the same number of points with Fasil. In fact, the statistics are the same, from the number of matches played, to the number of matches won, to the number of matches drawn, to the goals scored, the goals against. They've got the exact number of statistics. It's just that Fasil was on the ascendancy, so they are slightly on top of them in the third rather, as the other side remains in the second, the Buna side. Back into the game then. St. George organizing it. Bring it into the center. They've got Frimpong Mensu, the big Ghanaian man, to take care of that midfield fulcrum, going up and coming down. And then Enoch Adunya, who loves to run on the flanks, tries to make a dash for it in the midfield. Will be a better pick coming off Adis Gidey, who has started the game today, while initially was expected to remain on the bench. This one is intended for Getane Kebede. 22 goals he scored in 2013. The 2013-2014 season. So he's a man who is really being relied on. He scored against Sebeta, he scored 2 against Awasa, including 1 penalty. He's also gunning for the top of it all. But all these are statistics, Gilbert. They say it's what happens in 90 minutes that determines, and that for a derby, all the statistics don't count until the 90 minutes. A run down on the left side of the attack, quickly picked up by Wadmene Dereje, who will start it for the Buna side. The statistics don't count for anything in a derby.
Yes, we say in a derby, you throw all the statistics into the sink and you start afresh. It doesn't matter who is at the top at that particular point, but both teams are on a high. You know, you look at the games that they have played, they are really rolling, and it's just a question of who makes the first mistake and blinks fast, and he will be done.
Looks like an injury on William Solomon of Ethiopia Buna in the midfield. He's going to get a free kick for that. You say you throw all the statistics in the sink. That must be a very,
all of them.
Must be a very clogged sink, Gilbert. It's probably easier to throw them in the dustbin. And have the garbage men collect them, but in the sink. All right. So Solomon got a free kick for the Ethiopia Buna side. And they also get a throw in. One minute, Dereje plays it to Asrat Tunjo. One of the men who loves to hold the ball confidently in the midfield. They'll be looking for Abubakar Naisar. With a change going on to the right side, Haile Gabratinse has spotted a little bit of a gap on that side. Abubakar plays right in the center. I can assure you this ball is intended for him. Now, a loss of possession becomes a disaster in a technical game like this one. And St. George try to use it. Kebede getting involved. Transition has gone back and forth. And is now being picked up by St. George again. Those little touches require a very quick second touch for them to work. But if it's just a little touch and then you let the ball go, there's so much quick-footed players in there, they'll have picked up the ball as quickly as possible.
Yes, they've had a problem with the power behind the ball because they like knitting the passes quite close to each other. And therefore, they put a lot of, not too much power on the ball and very, very eligible for interceptions.
Well, you can see that Dilly Darling is meant to look for the options to use, and then, of course, going out with speed like that is good for the team. They try to look for an option to bring it back to the center. And that's a well-placed William Solomon to be the fulcrum on it. A very long cross here. And you can see the pressing was all on one side. There's literally nobody who comes back to try and pick up the ball on this side. The St. George coach is happy that pressing has resulted into that error that sends the ball into possession for St. George.
It's interesting, Bernard, today that St. George is playing with 3 central defenders. 3, that is Enoch Kadunya, Ashlai Tamene, and Frimpong Mesa. And they have 5 midfielders. They have no wingers.
We'll see when they bring the ball. Now it is actually Ethiopian Coffee that is bringing the attack. And now the St. George side comes out with it. But they can't go onto the side because they don't have the men on that left side. They probably are looking at central penetration more than anything else, more than penetrating from the wing. This is going to be pretty obvious. They're targeting Asrat Tunja up on the left side. It's already becoming legible very early in the game. The success of it all will depend on what changes the coaches can make very quickly, as the Ragi Kasai is already barking instructions. Frimpong. Heno Kadunya, beg your pardon, he loves to play on the... He's supposed to be at the right back, but he's always rolling onto the wing on the right side and rarely staying on his line. Some quick take again. Frimpong Mensah for the St. George side. Looking at the options and realizing there's nobody on the flanks, decides to play it back to his defenders. Oh, yeah, they're going to watch out for those very obvious attempts to try international referees, and ends up in Patrick Matassi's hands, and he's going to start the build-up from his side. Today, Matassi knows he's got to be on his best. It's a derby. It's being watched all over Africa on your World of Champions, and he's got to put up his best performance as well. Not the howler that he had in the first game.
This is his biggest test. It's the biggest test because this is the biggest game in Ethiopia. Matassi, of course, with the 33 years for the national team, because he wants to please everyone, and even at home where he comes from in Kenya, they are all glued to their screen, purposely to watch one Patrick Matassi.
Okay, so we could say in Ghana as well for Frimpong, they're all glued to their screens as well to watch him do his thing. As St. George bring it from the right side, the block takes it out for a corner. But a very, very spirited run there. A good effort to stop it by one Mega Dereje. He's going to have a lot coming in his direction if this is a sign of things to come. That he's going to be pushing literally every side. Mebrate did the right thing. Tekle Mariam Shanko is arranging his men. It's a very long one. He picks it up. I think he tried to drop it first of all to cool the temper of it and then start it. A quick break now here, but it's 2 on 3. They're targeting. Naisar has gone through. He's got the goalkeeper around. He rounds the goalkeeper, and it's going to be a penalty. No doubt about it. And Matas is going to be yellow carded for that tackle. Oh, he takes one for the team. But Abu Khan. Seafoot going in there, deliberately bringing down Abubakar Naisar. Naisar himself knows that he's got it. He's looking at the cards. And you knows that this is a big, big match today. And things must be different. So, a very sad day for Matasi. They're going to have to make changes. They've got another goalkeeper, Leam Birhanu. And Leam will have to be warmed up, but that means they're going to pull out one player, an infield player, to bring in a goalkeeper. Second time in the Ethiopian Premier League that we are seeing this. The Ethiopian Coffee side is a happy side. They've been the ones who have not dominated the ሸገር Derby, but now they're probably seeing it as a chance, Gilbert.
Well, they're seeing it as a chance, and playing with 3 men at the back. Now that they have lost the goalkeeper, it shows you clearly that there's going to be a change of tact, and Mahir Davis knows exactly what is going to happen. He's giving fresh instructions to the whole team on what exactly should happen should they bring in their second goalkeeper.
Wow. A sad day for the Kenyan goalkeeper, with Arage Kasai seeing his chances going up, because from the 10th minute it means that the St. George side will play with only 9 men up at the front. And the substitute goalkeeper, Leam Birhanu, will have to be the one who takes the responsibility. Well, the coach just gives him a good pat on the back. At least it's cool, and I still say that 0-0. But the man is going to be in tears. He has to go back to the dressing room. It's always a long walk, and a shameful and very lonely walk into the dressing room, alone. For the fans of Coffee that will be celebrating, they think they have a chance to take the lead here, and they think the one man less on the field is going to work in their favor. So that number 12 is often reserved for the fans. They don't use it in the team. And the change is being made. They have sacrificed Robin Neglande, a midfielder, because of that red card on Patrick Matasi. Neglande has to come out, an infield player, and they have to bring in a goalkeeper. At the same time, it's going to be a penalty. They probably will give the responsibility to Abubakar Nicer to try to get the ball into the net. 73 goals that have been scored in the derby in its current form as the league. And St. George have scored the bulk of them. Now the Ethiopian Coffee side have a chance to probably just increase it by 1 goal. They've scored 24. But that's if they put it in the net. It's one thing to gain the penalty, another thing to be able to make use of it. And a big test for the new goalkeeper, Leam Birhanu. There's always drama in the derby, and this is the true definition of high drama. So the captain, Abubakar Nicer, versus the new substitute goalkeeper, Leam Birhanu, playing his first match for St. George in the resumed Ethiopian Premier League season. Well, you're taking a deep breath. Goalkeeper probably has warmed enough. And there's always a chance to be a superhero in this one by either scoring or by the goalkeeper saving it. There's equal chances for either of them. Nasir versus Leam Birhanu. And Birhanu is sent on the wrong side. Nasir takes just 2 steps and wrong foots the goalkeeper, taking him to the other side, taking the ball into the net. Abubakar Nasri is firmly in the run for top scorer. Beautiful goal that he puts in. Doesn't really excite Arage Kasai visibly on the outside, but on the inside, I'm sure he's celebrating it. And Ethiopia Coffee take the lead in the ሸገር Derby. Very well taken penalty, Gilbert.
Oh, what a way. You know, he lifts his foot up, light foot up, moves the goalkeeper to one side, picks the spot, and with power and precision, Nasser scored against Wolkite 2 goals, scored against Fasil 1 goal, and now he has scored against in the biggest derby of the Ethiopian League.
Yeah, Shanko is celebrating it on the other side. The scoreline has changed. St. George 0, Ethiopia Coffee 1. And it's a penalty in the 16th minute. Now there's going to be 1 extra man for the St. George side. Can they take advantage of it? Now the other part of the story can also work, that can St. George play with 1 man less and play well? This has happened before in this league just the other day, Gilbert. What happened then?
Yeah,
in which
it was against Fasil, where they lost one player and they still went ahead and won 3-1.
well, they actually won it very confidently.
Yes, yeah.
So they are used to that as well, playing one man less. But we'll see. It was Diradao. Was it Diradao when they won 3-1? Yep. We'll see what happens next. But for the fans, they've got to keep it going. For the Ethiopian coffee fans, it's going to be a happy moment for it. The reorganization must start now on the St. George side. If you are the coach, what would you tell them to do?
Well, now that they've pulled out one midfielder, it means that they cannot play with 3 at the back. They will have to at least play 4 at the back with the 4 in the midfield and only 1 at the top.
So that means they're going to be targeting the balls up at the flanks and probably right at the center. And they'll be relying heavily on the counter-attack. Referee stops play here for a little while. I think he is admonishing one of the players and telling him what it thinks he should have been doing. I don't know what Getani Kebede was doing at the back there. He's probably intercepted the takeoff of this ball from the goalkeeper. And if you are the coach of the Ethiopian Buna side, what would you tell them now that they've got a man extra in the game?
They need to push one extra man forward because they're only playing with one person, that is Abtamu Tadese, as the lone striker. They can now play with the 2 strikers, Abubakar Nasser, together with Abtamu, to at least put pressure on that defense line.
Frimpong Mensah knows that he's got to work extra hard today. He's going to be having 2 people coming at him every time the ball comes in that direction. Nasrat Tunjo has got to use the extra man. Tadese has cut it back into the mid. Here is a shot, takes a little deflection. It's going to go off the field of play. Solomon is the one who's taking the shot. And his own player deflects it out for a goal kick. It's going to be for the St. George side. In all fairness, in that red card by Patrick Matasi, I think that he has taken one for the team, because he hoped that the penalty could be saved, and that would have worked in his favor, and he shouldn't be vilified for that. It happens. That is something that happens. There's going to be a lot of fight as well. Nobody's controlling the midfield at the moment, Gilbert.
They haven't. They are losing a lot of possession, especially.
But there's more coffee colors in the center. They should be able to string the passes much better, shouldn't they?
You would expect that they should be able to at least use that extra man to have a lot of possession.
A friend of mine once tried to mix beer and coffee, Gilbert.
Oh,
the result was
disastrous.
No, it wasn't disastrous.
Oh.
It was almost a red card situation. He took one for the team as well. This is picked up by Ethiopia Coffee. They're going to be starting it on their half. Very casual in the way they come from their own third, the first third. But that's not the story of the St. George, Ethiopia Coffee alone. It's the story of St. George as well. And it's the story of Ethiopian football. Big switch onto the right side, and they've got more space. They probably can push an extra man in there as well. Little nice touch comes off the foot of Tafesa Solomon. He's trying to position himself for a pass to come in his direction. Redouane on goal to his credit for the Ethiopia Coffee side. And Tunjo then plays it to Abtamu Tadese. Yep, just one loss changes everything. Although they pick it up again as quickly as possible, Coffee know that dilly-darling too much is not good for them. They've got Kebede out on the right. Nasser evading a tackle from Metin Scott. On one into the box. Well, Adunya with a frantic clearance here. While his goalkeeper could have gone for it, he knows the danger of being very technical. Is that a loss of ball, even if it just bounces in there, can cause a disaster, Gilbert.
It can cause a disaster, especially when it's closer to your goal, and then there is what we call a quick transition from defense to attacking motion.
Yeah, or even just an easy pick, you know, the ball bouncing in front of you, the speed of the strikers, and just one touch makes a big difference in this game here. Would be dangerous. Abtamu Tadese is the most fluid of the players you see up front. He combines both the technique and speed and some physical prowess as well to go down on the sides. Nasser gives this pass behind Ebol Kebede. It's not going to help him. It goes off the field of play, and it's going to be a throw-in. You know, you wouldn't believe that 21 minutes have gone by, Gilbert.
I'm
It's
telling
just
you.
that entertaining, and the anticipation, you can actually touch it in the air.
And the adrenaline levels, both on the field and even in the commentary booth, you can easily feel
Oh,
it.
is there adrenaline in the commentary? I thought there's
This is
just
the
two of us
derby.
here.
This is the derby.
No, Gilbert, I was, now that you mention it, I would say you wore the colors of Ethiopia coffee on one day when you were in the commentary booth. I saw you. I made a mental note to mention it because it almost looked like you were showing an allegiance to one side, but I think it was just the African attire that you had been touched on that day. It's going to be a free kick here for St. George. And being pushed forward, it's going to go to the goalkeeper. And it's going to be touching the right side of the attack for them. They'll take their time. They can enjoy themselves, but again, there's danger in just rolling the ball around thinking that you are comfortable, because just one touch could change things. So they might as well work with haste and work progressively. I'm talking about the Ethiopian coffee side.
Yeah, they've gone into allow because they believe that they have one man extra. And look at that!
That's the lack of concentration we were talking about. And just talking about sitting back there and feeling too comfortable, they put it in their own net. And I think it's going to be blamed on Redouane Nasser. Why does he put the ball all the way back into his own goal? Redouane Nasser. Oh, he's going to be not a very happy man here. An own goal in the worst of fashions here. And we're talking about them going into allow. The goalkeeper is playing a high line. He's off his line totally. Can't stop this one from going into the net. Redouane Nasser has helped the team to score the goal. With the goalkeeper knowing he's going to bang himself into the post. This is a mistake that they forced on themselves, Gilbert.
I was talking about the high press by the St. George team. They put a lot of pressure on the defenders, and that goalkeeper, Tekle Mariam Shanko, was nowhere close to knowing exactly what was going on.
Not a happy moment.
What a way.
For Redouane Nasser. Not a happy moment. Two names on the score chart. One is Redouane Nasser, the other one is Abubakar Nasser. But they play for one team. One has scored for the other side. An own goal in the 24th minute. Makes it St. George 1 and Kofi 1. We have a game in our hands, Gilbert.
Is it possible that they're brothers?
In very good fashion. Very good fashion. Amazing. We're going to still be playing this even further into the game as they try to look for a through ball, and two men are onside. And one of them is Nasir. He gets the ball and puts it in the net. It's another goal in the ሸገር Derby. Just about a minute apart here. The second goal for Abubakar Nasser. The second one for Ethiopia Coffee. Puts them firmly in the lead now. And they use that extra advantage, the one-man advantage. And the fact that it's a second-team goalkeeper who's in there is making the fans want to be the ones making the substitutions here. Things have changed at the Addis Ababa Stadium. Things have changed at the ሸገር Derby. The 41st derby in the league is currently formed. Puts Abubakar Nasser again on the score chart. But he will be happy that he has been assisted very unselfishly. And that celebration for him gets him a yellow card as well. But I don't think he minds that at the moment. What a game that we are watching. In only 25 minutes, we've already seen 3 goals. St. George 1, Ethiopia Coffee 2. What a game, Gilbert.
Well, you talk about the team tactics, defense, team tactics moving forward. Those quick counter-attacks on both sides of the divide have paid dividends for Ethiopian Buna. I think Abubakar now.
We'll do that. Right?
Yeah.
It's not a big deal to find out how many goals he has. It's something to just confirm, and that's it. So don't worry about it. He's a man who's firmly in control of the run-up to the Golden Boot. Of course, together with others contending for it. But the style with which he scores his goals is the ones that makes you, be happy for the tact that he's using. Abtamu Tadesi has given it to Tunjo, who decides to change the wing onto the right side. They're having good fortune on the right side, the Ethiopia Coffee side. They're using the speed and it's working for them on that side. Oh, some stylish play here that was intended to get the ball forward. It bangs onto Ebo Yeleo. No, oh, there was no offside here. Starts the run very nicely. No offside at all. 2 men on the onside. And then the cutback is very unselfish coming from Abel Kebede. And he puts it to Abu Bakr Nasser, who puts it in the net. Really what the celebration they had, Gilbert.
That's a big celebration, and that's the undoing of the St. George's defense line. Still playing with 3 men at the back. With the speed of Abdul Nasser, they are in big trouble.
Well, you can trust Gilbert to look at the mistakes more than to celebrate the goals first, you know. That's the man who brought in the cross. I think he did it in very good fashion. So we'll be waiting to see whether they can bring in some more in that combination they're having with Abu Bakr Nasser on that side as they start the build-up again. But it's got to be one of the best times that Ethiopia Coffee is playing St. George, because they're leading and they know they have a 1-man advantage. Again, looking for a chance to, well, it's going to be offside here. They all knew it. Tamu Tadesse knew it, Nasser knew it, but the tuck is working. Maher Davids is worried. What do you think he's thinking?
I think he's very thin, especially on the wider areas, because that is exactly where Ethiopia Buna are trying to ply their trade.
Okay.
They're either playing on the right or on the left side of the attack.
I'll put it in football language. You know, when you say Maher is very thin on the sides, I was actually looking at his frame and wondering whether he's lost weight in 27 minutes of this game. But you mean that his team
Tactically,
doesn't have people on the other
yes,
side?
tactically, defensively,
Oh, another mistake,
they have a
Gilbert.
big problem.
Another mistake here. Are they anxious? Are they trying to get out so hard that they're making those mistakes? Should they change from the short passes they are having out of their goal area in their third and opt for something longer that can get them past that half?
Well, first, Bernard, they need to reorganize their defense. They
Okay.
need, because that is where they're leaking, especially on the left back and the right-hand side. That's where they need to organize that first before they can be able to move into the midfield and forward line.
Well, I can tell you the goalkeeper is not really confident. Even in the take of that ball, he wasn't. But at least he gets into the midfield. This is going to be a throw-in. It's going to be given to the St. George side with Haida Sharefa complaining to the referee. I think he's looking for a foul. But the referee is an international referee. He doesn't think there was anything there. And I can tell you he's also got a BA degree in management from Adama University. So he knows exactly what he needs to be managing.
How to manage the game.
And, it's been an international since 2014. So really, and here is the cutback for St. George. It's in the net. Oh, it's gonna be a big day in Addis Ababa. And I tell you, the numbers don't matter here. Whether it's 1 man less or 1 man more, it's gonna be a day in which the team that wins will be the team that has put in the goals. Shankor is complaining. I don't think he should. And the celebration is taken all the way outside by Addis, or the Gadisa Bebrade. He's gone so far out to celebrate his goal. But in what fashion? It's a very quick one here, coming from the side. And then the cutback, 45, there are 2 players and Matt there. 3, the third one is joining them. The defenders here are also watching the line a little bit too low. And that is a perfect place to take the shot from, Gilbert.
Well, you thank Gadisa Mebrate for that tactical application of that ball. He knew he was all by himself, picked his spot and put power behind that ball. What a way to come back for St. George's as they tie this game 2 goals to 2.
2 goals to 2 at the moment. And Gadisa Mebrate is the man to celebrate that. Now there's going to be a frantic effort to try and get it now to 3. Every time there's a goal on one side, it looks like there's an unwritten rule that there should be a goal on the other side as well. The goal tally will change in the ሸገር Derby. This is Ethiopia Coffee trying to look for where to come in through. Abo Kebede has brought in some good crosses from that side. Nasser has been dispossessed. St. George have only 1 man at the front, but I can tell you, they're bringing in another one now. This should ordinarily be an easy time for the defense of the Ethiopia Coffee side, because there's 4 of them lining up. There are only 2 strikers who are coming up at the front. They've picked it up for themselves. Tadesse brings it to Solomon, who plays it into the midfield to Tafese Solomon. William Solomon gave it to Tafese Solomon. They've seen a ball out on the right side on his own. Bring it back to the center. And Redouane Nasser is organizing it here. It's a shot parried by the goalkeeper back into play. Picked up by Tafese Solomon. And a good attempt by Abtamu Tadese to try and put it in the net. There's drama in this game, Theo, but it can't let you sit on your seat from that shot.
Oh, that's a ferocious shot. That's a ferocious shot from the midfield, and the goalkeeper did very well.
It's a good save.
Yeah, not to handle the ball, but just parry the ball away for either a corner or there should be a corner.
Yeah, no, it wasn't, because he was expecting a shot to come the other way, and it didn't go on target. But he's got to watch out to where he's also pushing the ball to. There is some predatory strikers up on the front on St. George, just like there are some up on the front for the Ethiopia Coffee. Down on the right side again, Kebede. Now the control evades him, it goes up the field of play. But he's providing, especially the crosses from the right side.
Yeah, he is really enjoying himself on the right-hand side. Abel Kebede, down in 17 on the Ethiopian corner side.
Into the midfield, to the man who's just got himself on the score chart. Look at how far he is. And by the time he joins the attack, you know, he's done his duty in the defense. Talking about Mebrate. Going to be the Ethiopia Coffee side starting it again. Every time they slow down the pace of the game, it is the quiet before the storm. 4 goals in 30 minutes that we've seen so far, in 29 minutes if you'd like. As Coffee look for another way to infiltrate. Well, this might also just turn into a question about the effects of coffee vis-a-vis the effects of beer.
The cake has been baked.
Which cake now?
The cake has been baked. There's only 2 players who need to put an icing on both sides.
No. Why? What do you mean the cake has been baked?
The cake has been baked, Bernard. Haptamu Tedese.
It's just that I'm not very conversant with the process of brewing the beer, but I think it's also just about the last process of it. For the coffee, I know the ceremony, and it's just about to be served on the field as well. It's going to be a big choice in 2 of the biggest supported clubs in Ethiopia, St. George and Ethiopia Coffee. They also compete in the number of supporters, although the St. George side has a massively big support here. But you must think about the Ethiopia Buna side. It's actually probably the most supported club than the St. George side. 24 years in the league, but they need to do a little bit more today. I think they just have 40 years since their formation compared to St. George's 85 years. And the passing game is the hallmark here. Goes back to the goalkeeper, Liam Birhanu. You know, it would be easy to be able to look at this game in statistics as well. As Liam Birhanu started again on the right side. And Abtamu Tadese goes for it. He's trying to waylay Ashala Utamene. That's a good number of passes that have been strung in this game. The difference with Ethiopia Coffee passes is more, of course, than the St. George. But in terms of the incomplete passes, again, if you subtract the 29 from the passes they probably have less compared to what St. George has.
Yeah, St. George enjoying a possession. In fact, in full time there is
Ethiopia Coffee actually leading.
They're enjoying possession. They have 4 men at the back and 5 men in the midfield.
There is a cross coming into the box. An attempted a header here. There'll be nothing that will be given out to Adunya, who I think has rolled all the way into the box. The Ferns are celebrating it. They don't think this is over. As long as it's square, they think it can still go either way. But they're making it pretty obvious here, as the St. George side will be starting from their side. Now, this is the captain of the St. George side, just watching Adunya getting back to his line. The roving right back finds himself so often up at the front. He brings the crosses from the right side, but he also runs back into defense on that same right back position. Coffee have a 1-man advantage. They could use that. But you know, we've talked about the percentages as well. 110% from each of the St. George players makes it level. And they are using it, and they've leveled the game as well.
Yes, when you're having one man less.
Well, here it comes into the box again. Tunjo trying to go for a shot that has been blocked. he should be wary of not injuring himself by hitting too hard on that ball. Because out of the field of play, it's going to be a throw-in. You were saying something, Gilbert?
Well, I was talking about when you have one-man advantage, it means that your opponents, in this case St. George, have to drop back in numbers when they lose possession of the ball. Therefore, you might not be able to realize that they are one man less. Unless maybe they are playing a very high line, just as we've seen, and then quick counter-attacks by Ethiopian Buna to score very crucial goals.
Okay, Gilbert, start your sentence like this. St. George have one man less in the field. What do they need to do then to be able to counter this with the percentages we're talking about? 110%? They cover it, don't they? And they work it very well.
Well, they've done so far, and that man is the man that I was talking about. That is their top scorer, Getane Kebede. He's the one who's going to put an icing on the cake.
Yep.
And when I told you that the cake has been baked...
What if he doesn't put the icing on the cake?
He's the only one who's allowed to put the icing on the cake.
No, he's not. Mebrate has started the icing by scoring in the 29th minute. What if Mebrate puts the icing on the cake again? Are we going to remove the icing? Let's say he's spearheading the icing department. Yeah, he's he's the one who's spearheading it. But he could be helped, obviously, by everybody else. They need him to do that for him. They're relying on him. This is going to be a foul here. What's the point of banging too hard as well? And I think that reaction by Wadmede Dereje is just saying that he's a little bit unhappy with what Abel Yaleo did. Abel just claims, I was just around there and he banged it to me, so he's offered him a handshake instead. Yeah, he was also just preparing himself, but you know, a little bit of his elbow almost goes in there. That's not Abel, actually, that's Mulwala Mtesfin. But his hand was going in there as well, but he says, look, sorry about that, let's just go on with the game. No point in losing in losing tempers at about this time, as Kofi again begin to organize it on their side, changing the wings onto the left side.
Look at the defensive shape by the team in yellow.
St. George.
Yeah,
the ball falling back into
there are 8 guys defending behind the ball.
Oh, that's good, isn't it? But Tadesse doesn't seem to want to care about that. He's trying to break through that defense. No foul here. Tadesse is down on the ground, but St. George are at liberty to either send the ball out of the field of play, to have him get some attention, and they do now. Closest to themselves. Tadesse went for a tackle and he fell. I think somebody else banged into him. He's feeling the pinch of it, Gilbert.
He's feeling the pinch of it, and that's the other gentleman that I was saying. That is Adunya. Adunya
did tackle him. He actually just went for the ball, but the main tackle that falls in comes from behind Adunya as well.
Yeah.
Then he loses his footing, but now they have to give the ball back to St. George in a sportsmanship gesture. That's Adunya now. It's gone back to exactly what it was, beginning it from the side and into the midfield. They're playing a very high line, the defense, but they have reason to. They've got one extra man every time. They can keep him at the back. But let that not deceive you, because even with one man less, St. George have already proved they are dangerous, and we've seen them play before with one man less and still win the game. St. George coming in here. Lots of cut calls for a handball that has been ignored by the referee, who thinks there was no intention.
Again, the shape.
Here is the cross onto the left side, and to Nasser, looking for an extra man. He's got 2 in the box. They're not in a hurry. Tunjo plays it back to Nasser. He'll try to find space. He was also trying to find a touch that could probably endear him to the referee and probably give him a little bit of an advantage. It didn't work there. It's going to be a foul. You're saying something?
He's a crafty fellow. Abubakar Nasser is a very, very crafty fellow. When he's around the box, he wants to at least do some little trickeries.
But he knows that he can get that one. This was a more obvious one that came onto Abel Yaleo. But Nasser knows very well when he goes in there, anything can come in his direction. They are appealing for that penalty there. I don't think there was any handball intended.
No.
And the referee just lets it roll, much to the delight of Vashale Otamene. I should say much to his relief. 40 minutes gone, Gilbert. Exhilarating action, very fast-paced. 4 goals in total, 1 red card with the Kenyan goalkeeper having taken 1 for the team. He simply noted here, and by which time they were, the game wasn't in their favor. Nasser picks up the ball after it goes for the defender, rounds up the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper puts his foot in there. He's appealing his case. But international referee Belai Tadese knows that it was very deliberate and gets him out in a straight red card. He took one for the team.
They took one for the team.
So it's good for the team to take one for him as well.
Yeah, and they're actually playing for him at this point in time. Despite the fact that they're playing with 10 men, it really doesn't show. And that man, Nasser,
yeah, he wrong-footed the goalkeeper, you know, making a little dance step with his left foot. And I think when Matasi Patrick is watching Leon Bilharno being sent onto the wrong side, I don't think it could have been any happier. How do you analyze it now? 42nd minute that we are playing, we haven't had much stoppage in this first half.
we've had very potential striking from both sides, and they've also shown some defensive frailties on both sides. So,
On both sides?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's 50-50, despite the fact that one has 11 players and the other has 10.
Oh, that was easy mathematics. 2 goals apiece must be 50-50. I think we should have put it in yards as well. Maybe we should see the possession statistics as well. But really exciting derby, the ሸገር Derby in Addis Ababa. If you're wondering why it's called the ሸገር Derby, ሸገር is just slang for the, you know, for beautiful. You could call it the Konjo Derby, the beautiful derby as well. And either way, you'd still probably resort back to that ሸገር Derby name of it, by which it is very affectionately known. Abtamu Tadese will pick it up in the midfield. And he's got the company of Wondmagen Dereje. Astra Tunjo now falling slightly back into defense. They're changing places with Tadese most of the time. And when Wondmene Dereje also moves forward, Tunjo then comes in to be able to fill up the gap. Looking for a chance to give it out at the front. Solomon Tafese lifts it on the left foot. Rimpong heads it forward. And Kofi is pushing. Really pushing. It's going to be a ball that is given to the forward line on the St. George side. Now Nasser must realize by now that the referees are watching you. You can't just get an easy, you know, kind of free kick every time you want. This time he doesn't take off. I'm talking about the captain of the St. George side. And you saw him going down very easily.
The referee is not even paying attention.
He's not even interested,
you
know, and it should stop the grandstanding. And I'm sure if there were fans in the stadium in full, then that would have been a big call, you know, for a penalty and something like that. It's going to be a foul here. A yellow card is in the offing. It's the second time in about 2 minutes that Wondmene Dereje has done exactly the same thing to Getane Kebede. I think the referee now decides is that enough. His head spotted him, pushed him down, and the captain was beginning to feel the pinch, was complaining to the referee as well. The referee says, look, I've spotted you twice, 3 times. It's time to give you a card here. Do you think that Ethiopia Coffee might be on the way to getting a better result from this derby today than any other day? Or do you feel that Ethiopia St. George might come back into this game and still continue the dominance?
They will come back. I think I do like the coach Mahir Davis' tactical supremacy, tactical awareness of what is going on and the reorganization that he has made in the team. And by him coming back to score 2 goals, it just shows you that this game is far from over.
It's far from over. So you think he's going to rearrange things a little bit in halftime?
He will.
Okay. I will not question your faith in Mahir David as a coach as well. And you've talked about tactical supremacy. Now that's the only way you can put it to explain why St. George are tying this at 2 goals to 2 at about this time. We're playing the added minutes of the first half in a game in which one player has scored twice but has scored for either side, his side and the opposing side, in 16th and 23rd minutes. Then we've seen 2 goals in about 3 minutes from the 25th to the 28th, which still leaves it tied at 2-2. The play acting is not going to help in this game. They're just going to have to be firmly on the ball. But it tells you a lot about how else it probably has been done before. It's going to be brought back into the midfield. The interception is a good one coming from Abel Yaleo. I think he's seen the goalkeeper off his line and was trying to chip him. We know that Tekle Mariam Shanko is fond of being off the line. And we know that now he might have to change things so far. Mahir Davids as well, the coach of the St. George side, is taking his notes.
Oh, he's taking his notes.
There's a lot of notes.
There's a lot of notes. There's a lot of work that is going to be in that changing room. You have an advantage. You must find a way of trying to use that advantage.
Did you do history in school, Gilbert? You know the amount of notes you have to write in history?
As coaches,
it's a lot. Yeah, not even as coaches, just in school generally. There's always a lot of notes. You've got to study the empires. You've got to study the leaders of those days. So writing as much notes as probably you write in school when you're in a history lesson. Good 1-2 combination. Comes back into the midfield, looking for Kebede's run. He's out on the left side just to run away from the goalkeeper. I think he was more trying to run away from the defender, but the goalkeeper covers up. Still, it worries you that with one extra man, St. George still have to call on the goalkeeper to come in as a defender. Lel Biran on the other side heads this one off the field of play. You can understand why he has to come out as the last man. They're one man less. But on the other side, Shanko shouldn't be coming out.
Yeah, Shanko shouldn't be coming out. On the St. George side, they have to have the goalkeeper playing as the last man.
David, for the first time since we started seeing him, is shouting at the top of his voice, shouting instructions as Tadese tries to latch onto this one for a connecting header. They're playing their fifth match, the St. George side. We haven't seen David issue as much instruction as we are seeing him doing today. He's largely been sitting on the bench and just enjoying the proceedings here. He was very calm even when he lost the first match. Said very nicely, look, we lost it through a goalkeeper error, but that's past. We're going to just refocus for the next match. Do you think that's what is going on in his mind at the moment, that he'll refocus for the second half of this game?
Yes, he will definitely refocus. And you ask him why he stands there. He has to keep these players on toes throughout, because any lull from that side would definitely put him in danger.
Brought to a halt in the first half by international referee Belai Tadese. One red card that we have seen so far given to the Kenyan goalkeeper Patrick Matasi. And 2 goals from this very technical playmaker Nasser. Makes it 2 for Kofi. Mebrate and the other Nasser, Redouane, makes it 2 for St. George. At halftime, 2-2. We'll see what happens in the second half.
O palco está montado e 64 equipas a posto. Prepare-se para futebol arrebatador, com os pequenos a tentarem derrubar gigantes na mais antiga competição de futebol do mundo.
ነጥቤ ቢበዛ ጥላይ ሆነለን ጉዳይ ስንቱን ግን ልጋፋ እኔ ባንቺ ጉዳይ አንቺ ግድ የለሽም እኔ ግን አስተዋይ ጠራርገሽ የወሰድሽ የቀረኝን ሙዳይ ነጥቤ ቢበዛ ጥላይ ሆነለን ጉዳይ ስንቱን ግን ልጋፋ እኔ ባንቺ ጉዳይ አንቺ ግድ የለሽም እኔ ግን አስተዋይ ጠራርገሽ የወሰድሽ የቀረኝን ሙዳይ ታዲያ አባይንም አለኝ ምንጭ ሁነኝ ወንዜ ብርሃን ያካፈለኝ ነበረ ኩራዜ እሷንም አጥቼ እንዳይገባኝ ትካዜ ሲያለ ነው ተላምጄ ዋለው ያዋልሽው ጥቅምሽን ረግጠሽኝ ለሰው ምርጫውማ አንቺ ባለም ለመታያ አቅሜን እያወቅሽ ድልልኝ መቆያ ስቀሽ አለፍሽብኝ ገብቼ ከጉያ ስምሽ ገናና ነው ኬት መጣ ጭካኔ ለእኔ መሆን ባንቺ ትርፍሽ ነው ኩነኔ ምንሽ ተነካ አንቺ የተገፋ ሁኔ ለስምሽ መጋነን ያስፈታሁኝ ቅኔ ምንም እንኳን ባልሞት ከባድ ነበር ኑሮ አባርቶኝ ሄደው ባንቺ ተንደርድሮ ሩጫሽን ተይው ካንቺ መሮጥ ይብቃኝ ለእኔ ማስብልኝ አንቺ ማቱን ጨካኝ ምን አገኘው እኔ ከሷ ልቤን ወስዳ ምንትራሷ እሷ ስትል ለእኔ ጉዳት እንዴት ሆኖ ለእሷ ይታያት ነጥቤ ቢበዛ ጥላይ ሆንለን ጉዳይ ስንቱን ግን ልጋፋ እኔ በአንቺ ጉዳይ አንቺ ግድ የለሽም እኔ ግን አስተዋይ ጠራርገሽ የወሰድሽ የቀረኝን ሙዳይ ነጥቤ ቢበዛ ጥላይ ሆንለን ጉዳይ ስንቱን ግን ልጋፋ እኔ ባንቺ ጉዳይ አንቺ ግድ የለሽም እኔ ግን አስተዋይ ጠራርግሽ ወሰድሽ የቀረኝን ሙዳይ የቀረኝን ሙዳይ የቀረኝን ሙዳይ ልቤን ወስዶ መወላወል ስሜት ጠርቶ መቀማጠል በቀልቤ ላይ ማሰላሰል በኔ ኑሮ መደላደል የለም ዛሬ መደፋፈር በንብረት የማልሞከር ባንቺ አላቅም መደራደር ታዲያስ ያሏትኩትን ክኒን ሰጠኝ ለእኔ ፈውሴ ወንዝም መድኃኒት ነው ሲያዝ በህዳሴ ያልተነካው ስምሽ አሁን ከኔ ወድቋል ሰፊ ሜዳ ላንቺም እንዲሆን ተደርጓል አንቺ አባይ ሆንሽና እጅሽን ሰጥሻል ደጅደጁ
ነበር እዚህ ቦታ ላይ ጨዋታ ብልጫ እንዳይኖረው ለማድረግ ነበር ሙከራ ተደርጎ የነበረው ነገር ግን ጨዋታው ወሳኝ ክስተት ሁሉም ነገር የቀየረ ይመስላልና እንደገና እየተሰራ ያለ በዛው ላይ የተሻሻለ የመጡ ፎርሜሽኖችን ታክቲኮችን የተመለከተበት ግን አዝናኝነቱን ያለቀቀ የደርቢ ጨዋታ ነበር
የመጀመሪያው አንደኛ ደቂቃ ላይ እንደምንመለከተው ይቺ ኳስ ማታሲ ፓትሪክ ማታሲ አቡበከር ናስር ኢንስፒሬሽን ካርድ የወጣበት ነው የቀይ ካርድ ውሳኔ የተገኘበት የጨዋታውን እንቅስቃሴም ተቀይራለች የተባለች አጋጣሚ ነበረች
የጨዋታውን ሁሉንም ነገር የቀየረች ጎል ነች ኢትዮጵያ ቡናን ወደ መሪነት ያመጣች ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስን ተጫዋች እንዲቀንስ ያደረገች ይዞት የገባውን የመጀመሪያ የጨዋታ አስተሳሰብ እንዳይተገብር ያደረገች ሁሉንም ነገር የቀየረች ጨዋታ ነበረች ኳሱን ለማዳን ሲል ነው ያን ነገር ማድረግ የቻለው በዚህ እንቅስቃሴ ውስጥ እኔ ከማታሲ ይልቅ አስቻለው ኳሱን ለመቆጣጠር ሞክሮ ያላገኘበት መንገድ ለዚህ እንቅስቃሴ ሁሉ ትልቁ መንስኤ ነው ፓትሪክ ማታሲም በቀይ ካርድ መውጣትና ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ በቀይ ካርድ ተጫዋች እንዲጎልበት ያደረገችው ኢንሲደንት ያቺ ትመስለኛለች
ሙሉ በርደኑ ፓትሪክ ማታሲ ላይ እንዲሆን ያደረገ አጋጣሚ ነው ከዛም የተገኘውን የፍጹም ቅጣት ምት አቡበከር ናስር አስቆጥሯል ለኢትዮጵያ ቡና የመጀመሪያው ጎል አድርጎ
እጅግ በጣም ብዙ ትርጉም ያላት ጎል ለተጫዋቹም ለቡድኑም ነች በጣም የተጫዋቹ ሁለገብነት አስተዋይነት በራስ መተማመን ክሬቲቭ በጣም ብዙ ነገሩ በጣም የተሻሻለ የመጣ በዘንድሮ የኢትዮጵያ ፕሪሚየር ሊግ ላይ አመቱ መጨረሻ ላይ ለውድድር አመቱ ኮከብ ተጫዋችነት ከሚታጩ ተጫዋቾች መካከል አንዱ ነው ተጫዋቹ ከዚህም በላይ ብዙ ነገሮችን እያሳየን ስለሆነ ማድነቅ ብቻ ነው የምንችለው
አዎ ምናልባት ያው እንግዲህ ጎሉን ካስቆጠረ በኋላ በቡድኑ ላይ መነቃቃትን ይፈጥራል ሁለተኛው ደግሞ ጊዮርጊሶች አቻ የሆኑበት ጎል በተከላካዩ ተጫዋች አማካይነት የተቆጠረ ነው የኢትዮጵያ ቡና ቡድን ራሱ ጎል ላይ በአቡበከር ናስር አንድ ጎል ካስቆጠረ በኋላ በሬድዋን አማካይነት ደግሞ ሌላ ጎል ራሱ ሊያስቆጥሯልና አንድ ቤት ሁለት ጎል ነው አጋጣሚ ግን ከባድ ነው
ታናሽ ወንድሙ ሬድዋን ናስር እዚህ ላይ በጣም ትልቅ ጫና ውስጥ ነው የገባው በቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ አሁን ቦታ ነው ሲከላከል ቦታ ነው የሚይዘው ሲያጠቃ ደግሞ እንደምታየው በጥቂት ተጫዋቾች ግን ኢፌክቲቭ ለመሆን ሙከራ ያደረገ የሚገኝ ከቀይ ካርዱ በኋላና ሬድዋን ናስር የተከላካይ አማካይ ስፍራ ተጫዋች ነው የዚህ ቦታ ተጫዋች አንዱ ኳሊቲ ደግሞ ቦታን አሰስ ማድረግ ነው አጠገቤ ማን አለ የራስ ቡድን አጋር የተቃራኒ ቡድን አጋር ይሄን ነገር በደንብ ማየት ነበረበት ልጁ ታዳጊ ነው ወጣት ነው ባይ ዲፎልት ግብ ጠባቂው ቦታው ላይ ይሆናል ብሎ ስላሰበ ነው ኳሱን ማን እንዳለ እንኳን ሳይ ኃይል ጨምሮ ነው ያላቀውና ለቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ ወደ ጨዋታው እንዲገባ በጣም ትልቅ ውለታ የዋለች ኳስ ነች ነገር ግን የተጫዋቹን የግል ስህተት በጣም የምታጎላ ነበረች እዚህ ላይ አንድ መርሳት የሌለብን ግን የሃይደር ሸረፋን ፕሬሲንግ በጣም ማድነቅ አለብን እሱ መጥቶ ፕሬሸር ባይፈጥርበት ኑሮ እንደ አይነት ስህተት ውስጥ ላይ ገባ ይችል ነበር
አዎ ምናልባት እንግዲህ ይቺ ጎል ከተቆጠረችና ቡድኖቹ አቻ ከሆኑ በኋላ የሬድዋን ናስር በራሱ ግብ ላይ ካስቆጠረ በኋላ ሌላ ጎል ኢትዮጵያ ቡናዎች በጥቂት ደቂቃ ልዩነት አስቆጠሩ ቡና ወደ ጨዋታው የተመለሰበት አጋጣሚ ነበረ መናበቡ የቡድኖቹ እርስ በርስ ግንኙነት የተለየ ነበረ በጣም አስገራሚ ጎል ነው
በኢትዮጵያ ቡና በኩል ዛሬ አንድ የተለየ ትሬን እየተመለከትን ነው ባለፉት ጨዋታዎች አስተውለው ከሆነ ሀብታሙና አቡበከር ባሉበት የግራ መስመር አስራት እንጆ ባሉበት የግራ መስመር በኩል ነበር ቡድኑ የሚያጠቃው ጎል የሚያገኘው ዛሬ ደግሞ ኮምፕሊትሊ ተቀይሮ በቀኝ በኩል አስራት ታፈሰ እንዲሁም ደግሞ አቤል ከበደ ባሉበት ቦታ ላይ ነው እየተካ የሚገኘው ሁለቱም ጎሎች ሲገኙ በካታንጋ በኩል ወይም በሜዳው የኢትዮጵያ ቡና የቀኝ መስመር በኩል ነው የተገኙትና የመጀመሪያው አስቻለው አሁን ላይ ደግሞ ሃይደር እንዲሁም ከሱ ጀርባ የሚገኘው ፍሬምፖንግ የተላከውን ኳስ ማስቀረት አለመቻላቸው በነፃ አቋቋም ላይ እንዲህ አይነት እድል ሊፈጠር አድርጎታል።
አዎ ምናልባት የኢትዮጵያ ቡና ቡድን ከመስመር የተነሳ ዛሬ ማስቆጠሩ መጀመሪያ ላይ ስንለው ነበር በአስራትና በኃይሌ ገብረትንሳኤ በኩል የቦታ መቀያየሮች አድርጎ ነበር አሰልጣኝ ካሳይና ያው ያንንም ትንሽ ጎላ የሚያደርግ አጋጣሚ ይመስለኛልና ያም ትልቅ አስተዋጽኦ ያለው ይመስለኛል በጨዋታው እንቅስቃሴ።
በአጠቃላይ በኢትዮጵያ ቡና በኩል የተቀየሩ ነገሮች እንዳሉ እየተመለከትን የምንገኘው ባለፉት ጨዋታዎች ላይ ከነበረው ፈጽሞ የተለየውን ነገር ነው እያየን የምንገኘውና የጋዲሳ መብራቴን እንግዲህ ጎል በተወሰነ ደረጃ እንደምንመለከተው ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ በጣም ጎል በሚፈልግበት ሰዓት በአቤል በጣም የግል ኳሊቲ የተገኘች ጎል ነች። 2-3 ተጫዋቾችን አልፎ በጣም በነፃ አቋቋም ላይ ለሚገኝ ተጫዋች ነው ማስቆጠር የቻለው። የጋዲሳን ቦታ አያያዝ ታደንቃለህ፣ የአቤልን ክሬቲቪቲ ታደንቃለህ። ከዛ ደግሞ የኢትዮጵያ ቡናን ዲፌንሲቭ ዲስኦርጋናይዝድ መሆን እንደ ትልቅ ስህተት ታነሳለህ። ምክንያቱም 3-4 ተጫዋቾች አሉ፣ ሰው አልያዙም፣ ቦታ አልሸፈኑም። ሁሉም ከግብ ጠባቂው ጋር የጎሉን መስመር ነበር ሲጠብቁ የነበሩትና የቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስን የማጥቃት ድፍረት ብቃት የምታደንቀው ነገር እንዳለ ሆኖ ግን በኢትዮጵያ ቡና በኩል መከላከል ላይ የነበረው ድክመት ማየት እንችላለን።
በጣም ጥሩ። በመጀመሪያው አጋማሽ ደቂቃ የቡድኖቹን እንቅስቃሴ ስንመለከት ሁለቱም ቡድኖች 5-5 የግብ ሙከራ አድርጓል። ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ 2 ኦን ታርጌት፣ ኢትዮጵያ ቡና 3 ኦን ታርጌት አለ። በፋውል በኩል ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊሶች 6፣ ኢትዮጵያ ቡናዎች 4 ሰርቷል። 2 የቢጫ ካርድ ኢትዮጵያ ቡናዎች ተመልክቷል። ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ አማካኝነት 1 ቀይ ካርድ ተመልክቷል። ቡድኖቹ የማጥቃት እንቅስቃሴ ስናይ መሀል ሜዳና የመስመር ኳሶችን በደንብ ይጠቀሙ እንደነበረ ስታቲስቲክሱ ላይ የተመለከትን እንገኛለን። 8 ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ፣ ኢትዮጵያ ቡና ደግሞ 13 የማጥቃት እንቅስቃሴዎችን በሜዳው ክፍል ላይ አድርገዋል።
ፋሲል ዚህኛው አጋማሽ የማጥቃት እንቅስቃሴዎች ተደርጓልና በአማካይ ቢያንስ በየ2 ደቂቃው ፎርዋርድ ፕሌዮች አሉና ይሄ በጣም ነው የሚደንቀው። በሸገር ደርቢ ይሄን ብዙም የለመድነው አይደለም። እስካሁን ድረስ እንዳየነው 4 ጎሎችን ተመልክተዋል፣ ሙከራዎች ተደርገዋል። ከዛ ውጭ ደግሞ እንደምትመለከተው በተደጋጋሚ ጊዜ ጎል እድሎችን መፍጠር ተችሏል። ብዙ ጉሽ የሚያጸብ ምናምን የሌለው ጨዋታ ነውና በጣም አዝናኙን የመጀመሪያ አጋማሽ የሸገር ደርቢ ነው እየተመለከትን የምንገኘው።
አዎ የሸገር ደርቢ ጨዋታን እንግዲህ ከረጅም ጊዜ በኋላ ያለ ደጋፊ እየተከታተልን እንገኛለን። በአዲስ አበባ ስቴዲየም በጣም ነፃ የሆነ የጨዋታ እንቅስቃሴና በሁለቱ ቡድኖች በኩልም ለማጥቃትና ጎል ለማስቆጠር ጥረት እየተደረገ ይገኛል። ሁለተኛው አጋማሽ ላይ ምን ነገሮች ይጠበቃል የሚለውን እንግዲህ የጨዋታው አጋማሽ ሲደርስ እናያለን። ምን ኤክስፔክት ማድረግ ይቻላል?
አንድ በጣም እርግጠኛ መሆን ያለብን ነገር ኢትዮጵያ ቡና እንደነበረው የኳስ ቁጥጥር እንደነበረው ደግሞ የተጫዋች ቁጥር ብልጫ በዚህኛው አጋማሽ ላይ በጨዋታ ብቻ ሳይሆን በጎልም በልጦ መውጣት ነበረበት። ማለት እኩል መሆን አልነበረባቸውም። ስለዚህ በኢትዮጵያ ቡና በኩል ጫና አለ። ምክንያቱም 10ኛው ደቂቃ ላይ ተጫዋች ጎሎባቸዋል በቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ በኩል። ይህንን ምክንያት በማድረግ ቶሎ መሪ መሆን ነበረበት። ስለዚህ ጫናው በጎደሎ ተጫዋች ላለመጨረስ አቻ ላለመጨረስ ትልቅ ጫና ውስጥ የሚገቡ ይመስለኛል። በቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ በኩል የተመለከትኩት ፍጹም አስገራሚ ጌም ማኔጅመንት ነው እየተመለከቱ የሚገኘውና ይሄንን ነገር አጠናክረው በመቀጠል የሚፈጠሩ እድሎችን ወደ ውጤት በመቀየር ከዚህ ጨዋታ አቻ ብቻ ሳይሆን ውጤትን መቀየር ይችላሉ። ተጫዋቾች በተጠባባቂ ወንበር ላይ በብዛት አሏቸው ውጤት መቀየር የሚችሉ። ምናልባት ትልቁ ችግር ተጫዋች ስለጎደለባቸው የሚያስገቧቸው ተጫዋቾች የአንድ ሚና ሳይሆን የ2 ተጫዋች ሚና መወጣት አለባቸው። ቡድኑን መከላከሉን ማጥቃቱንም የሚያግዙና ለዚህ የሚሆኑ ተጫዋቾች ተጠባባቂ ወንበር ላይ ያሉ። በቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ በኩል ይህንን ጨዋታ ለማሸነፍ በተቻለ መጠን ጌም ማኔጅመንታቸው ላይ ልክ እንደ መጀመሪያው አጋማሽ መተግበር ወይም ደግሞ ውጤታማ ማድረግ የሚጠበቅባቸው ይመስለኛል። ግን በጣም አሪፍ እግር ኳስ ነው እየተመለከትን የምንገኘው።
ክቡራትና ክቡራን ሁለተኛው አጋማሽ ላይ ምን ነገር ሊጠበቅ ይችላል? ኢትዮጵያ ቡና ከቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ ባለሜዳው ዛሬ ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ ነው በዚህ ጨዋታ ላይ ከሻምፒዮኖቹ ዓለም ሱፐር ስፖርት ጋር አብራችሁ ከቆያችሁ ሁለተኛው አጋማሽን ተከታተላላችሁ። መልካም ቆይታ።
Right, ready?
Action. As one Premier League chapter leads into another, new characters audition for the lead role.
Our time to shine.
I'm not surprised about the Tottenham development.
With each turn of the page, more wonders loom.
Great goal.
ቸበለው አረ ቸበለው ቸበለው አረ ቸበለው
ቸበለው አባቱን ገዳይ ቸበለው እናቱን ገዳይ ቸበለው ድርድር አያውቅም ቸበለው በአገሩ ጉዳይ ቸበለው አባየ ግሌል ቸበለው ባልኩኝ ለጋራ ቸበለው ካቃራት ምስር ቸበለው ግፍም ሳትፈራ ቸበለው የተቆጣደው ቸበለው ፍቅር ታክሶ ቸበለው የሚባል አሳት ቸበለው ይሆናል ብሶ ቸበለው አረ ቸበለው ቸበለው አረ ቸበለው አዝም ይላል ነው ዜጋ ደሞ ጋባል ሳንጃው ጸባይ መት ሳንጃው ጸባይ መት ሳንጃው ጸባይ መት ንብረት ተዋለ ሳንጃው ጸባይ መት የራሴ ሳንጃው ጸባይ መት ሳንጃው ጸባይ መት ሳንጃው ጸባይ መት ይሁን ይበጅ ለኔም ለሷም ብዬ ማንንም አልፈራ ቸበለው አረ ቸበለው ቸበለው አረ ቸበለው ቸበለው አባይ ለጋሱ ቸበለው ግብፅን አርሶ ቸበለው አገር የባለ ቸበለው ሊተመልሶ
A story of two brothers who have scored in contrasting fashion, one scoring on the opposite side and the other one scoring 2 goals for his side. The scoreline is 2-2 in the 41st derby of the Ethiopian Coffee St. George. It will leave some fans, of course, unhappy. It will leave some fans very, very happy. The big question is, what are they going to do in the second half to turn around the fortunes, especially of the men and the women who dress up to be able to support the teams? Now, Ethiopian Coffee is the biggest supported club in the Ethiopian Premier League, but St. George has got these statistics. They have won this derby more times than the Ethiopian Coffee side. I know what's going on in his mind. He's wondering what will happen in the second half, and so are others as well. Gilbert, can you help them? What do you think they're discussing at halftime?
Well, I think for St. George, it's a thumbs up because of what happened in the first half, having to lose their goalkeeper and playing with 10 men for the most part of that first half. In the dressing room, it's been a question of how do we reorganize to be able at least to contain an 11-man team. So I think they will come back, 4 at the back, 4 in the midfield, and they will leave Getane Kebede at the top. For Ethiopian Buna, the question is, we have 1-man advantage. Why do we have to keep on sitting back? They have to keep on pushing. The goal that they scored, at least against the run of play, was from a mistake from the goalkeeper.
Okay. Now, we have to talk about the team itself. They were just warming up there and how to organize themselves in defense. This is what they're discussing as well. Now, do they still go with a 4-back line, or do they now push one person forward? Because they've got the difficult task of defending and attacking at the same time.
You've realized that Enoch Odunya, who was one of the central defenders, that is Frimpong Mensah, is actually moving up in attack, and most of the passes that are coming from the right-hand side are coming from Enoch Odunya. So they've decided they're not going to sit back. They will put pressure because there's only 1 man at the top, Kebede, and he's isolated. They are not shy of moving up.
Ebo Kebede is the other Kebede in the team, in the field. The one you're talking about is Gatane. This is the one that has to bring the crosses. He has been doing it for Abubakar Nasir, who has scored 2 goals. His brother, who is playing for the same team, Redwan Nasser, has scored for the other side. Now, you can't take it away from him. He also scored a goal for his team earlier on, so he's got 2 goals to his credit, but 1 against his own team. Not a very good record as we come into the second half of this match now. That has been very well refereed by Belai Tadese, the international referee who's also got a degree in management. Has started it for the second half of the ሸገር Derby here in Addis Ababa. Marcos Elias and Haile Jabera Danon will take you through the Amharic commentary. I am Bernardo Tieno in the company of Gilbert Salebo. Take you through the second half of this one. It's going to be a frantic one as well, because any simple loss of possession becomes a big gain to the opposing side. Just to remind you, St. George are playing one man less. Not the first time they're doing that. They are quite accustomed to it as well. But the question is, can they today also use that disadvantage and turn it into an advantage? Or will it be Coffee that will be using that advantage for themselves? The scoreline is 2-2. And that means we are at parity by the time we come into the second half of the game. It's with Ethiopia Coffee on the right side of the attack. And they can decide to slow the game however much they want. The only question is whether they can be able to withstand the pressure that comes with a counter-attack should St. George withstand the pressure that comes with a counter-attack should St. George pick up the ball. Tafesa Solomon is holding it in between the defenders and the midfielders. They haven't made a change at halftime. We've got all the men who came in the first half being here as well. And now Tamu Tadese will have to watch out for the offside flag that catches him in it. They don't look like they've come back with a lot of oomph, Gilbert. You know, what we call the gulbat in the chwata. Hasn't been able to show in this, but it's only 1.5 minutes played so far. You think they're going to exhibit it?
Well, we expect that both sides will not sit back. There's going to be a lot of counter-attacking football from St. George side, and there's going to be a lot of attacking from Ethiopian Buna with a very, very high line.
Yeah, the 41st derby between Ethiopia Coffee and St. George, with St. George winning 18 of them and leaving only 6 for the Buna side. They've drawn it 16 times now. That's a very good record, although the bragging rights usually remain with the team that has won it more of the times. And St. George are at the moment playing with one man less, which should ordinarily be something that the other side would take advantage of. But St. George still looks lethal here as Kebede picks up the ball, decides not to go for a fast attack. Now that loss of ball is crucial to the survival of the Ethiopia Coffee side, but it is disastrous to the other side. A penalty has been given to Nasser this time round. He kept his footing and then was obviously hacked down the second time, and he gets a penalty. And Nasser might just be on his way to a hat-trick here for the Ethiopia Coffee side. They say the very first few moments of the game are the most dangerous, accompanied by the very last moments of the game as well. Because when you're coming back into the game, the concentration is not there 100%. When you're just finishing the game, the concentration is waning as well. And for Ethiopia Coffee, this could be the best day of their recent derbies. So the challenge coming from Ashalau Tamene is cutting down Nasser left and right. Ultimately, Nasser is left on his feet and he gets a penalty for it, Gilbert.
Well, he's been persistent. He's been very persistent in going down, you know, play acting. And at this particular moment, what you expected him to do, get into the box and put Ashalau Tamene under pressure, he gets a penalty.
He's got a chance to go home with a match ball if he pushes this one past the goalkeeper. Second time he misses. Overconfidence is what you'd attribute to that. Took the same stepping that he did when he took the penalty in the 25th minute. He should have expected that the goalkeeper would probably, out of chance, decide to go in the direction where the other ball went. And he does cover the entire distance. Mr. Leam Birhan, who covered it all and forces Nasser to send the ball off the field of play.
Casual.
That chance is wasted.
It's too casual. It's too casual from a captain who has just had a contract extension for 5 years.
Yeah.
Meaning that the coach has had a lot of faith in him, and he lets him down at the most
Well,
opportune time.
he's scored 2 others, so he's not really let him down. He just misses this opportunity, I would think.
He misses to go home with the ball, but
yeah, he probably has another one. There's still time in this. He's not going home right away, Gilbert. He's going to be staying until the 90th minute. But he loses that chance to confirm that he would be getting a match ball. And now he's got to turn provider as well. He's really a good dribbler. There's going to be a lot of grandstanding coming from him. And after 2 goals, I have to ask the question again, Gilbert. Oh, this has been deemed to be a foul. And I thought that St. George was going to begin the run here. But why play the ball after the whistle? He shouldn't have played it. That's why he's getting yellow carded for it. It's still dissent when you do that. And I hope that desperation is not going to be creeping on the St. George players. Abo Ayaleo is a man who scored what goal for the side and should just keep his calm, but he gets himself unnecessarily carded. I wanted to ask you about Abubakar Nasser. 2 goals that he has scored. You think his game is going down now?
It should not get into his head.
No, it shouldn't. But does it? Does it usually get into the head of the players?
I don't think it will get into the head of the captain from what you've seen so far.
Okay.
He really wants this game
we'll see.
put behind, yeah.
Well, just second guessing him and hoping that it's not going to be true. This one was intended for Abtamu Tadese. Goes off the field of play. It's going to be a goal kick. Abtamu needs to be supported. He's the one who's always bringing in the feed, but now he also needs to get the feed and turn into a striker, and that maybe will change the fortunes because they already have their eyes on Nasser, and Nasser will be grandstanding in my opinion.
Yes, he will be grandstanding, and think they need to change tact and allow Abtamu Tedese more into this game.
This one goes straight into Shanko's hands. Starts to build up on the left side with Wandmene Dereje. Ethiopia Buna enjoying themselves here. Can you imagine coffee winning? And I mean coffee the product, winning over beer the product. That would be a win big for some, and not so big win for others.
I only take coffee.
Oh, that's your preference, Gilbert.
I don't know how the beer tastes.
Interesting. I'm not going to tell you what I take and what I don't take, but the game is sweet. That blend of the two is very, very sweet. It's played on the way to the outside. But Kofi still trying to roll possession here. Haile Gabratinse was involved in it, and then Tafese Solomon. A little bit of a push here. Kebeda is going to find it difficult to move in every time to try and attack because he's all alone. He's got to hustle. He's got to keep possession as well. He needs to play with somebody else. He needs somebody to run behind him. Yet again, they're facing that difficult situation of having one man less. And he actually forces Abebe Tilahun into fouling him and getting him that advantage. So it's going to be a free kick. From the left side, Gadisa Mebrate. The man who's scored in the 29th minute is the man who's going to be taking the free kick. There's just about 4 yellow jerseys waiting for it. Not too many. One club, one family. That's their motto. Long one. It rolls off the field of play on the other side, being chased by Frimpong Mensu, who joined the attack. Shouldn't have used so much power in it, should he?
Well, he was trying to get the back post, because there are quite a number of purple shots in that box.
Purple?
Purple. Is that
Okay.
brown?
I don't know. They say that you and I cannot see colors properly. So I don't know if it's purple or maroon, but I think it's more maroon than purple. And again, I recently attended a function in which the color was given as burgundy. So let's leave the colors out of here. This is a dangerous situation, sending the ball right across to the other side with the face of goal wide open. Kofi beginning the run. Nasser again will latch onto it. And he's got speed. He's got into the box, trying to go on the left side. Tries to cut back and bangs it on the goalkeeper. Should be doing more of that. And I think because he's missed the penalty, now he's providing a little bit more quality than he would have in an ordinary situation like this. He would have just tried to go past the second defender, and most likely he would have gone down right there.
Well, look at his speed and his ball handling skills, especially when he's moving up front. Absolutely.
They're remarkable skills.
Yeah, remarkable.
And he should use them and stay on his feet. That's all we're saying, because the moment he goes down, we don't get to see what other skills he'll be using on the ball. This is to Tafesa Solomon. Chipped onto the left side. Looking for more men to be able to do the job from the wings. Here is again Nasser. It's going to be a corner. No point in complaining. You had the last touch. It's pretty obvious. It slipped off the feet of this man, Nasser. And so it's another corner for the Ethiopia Buna side. The pressure is on. Leon Birhanu knows it as well. They tried from the outside. This is going to go off the field of play, and it's going to be a goal kick. Why would Coffee be frantic in their attack up front and they have one extra man?
I've never seen them playing those long passes. They always try to nick the balls, and they're right there in the box, and they're quite numbers. They have the numbers.
They should use them. Big run down on the right side. Try to cut it past the goalkeeper here. He didn't have possession, and it's going to be a foul that will be given to Ethiopia Coffee. There's a player down on the ground in the box. I think they will draw the referee's attention to that. Yeah, he was in full flight out on the right side. This is a foul that has been committed by Gadisa Mebrate. It has been given out for the Coffee side, but that run in the box coming from Abel Yaleo, they didn't keep possession of that ball. He was just disrobed and robbed by Wodbene Dereje. Nothing to write home about in that as we play the 56th minute of the game in the ሸገር Derby. Ordinarily, Gilbert, I must tell you, this stadium would be full to the brim. And you see that part in the middle there, from the founder of the St. George team, where the picture is, and the T-shirt on the Coffee side. See that place with the flags there? I'll tell you something about it there. They call it the Katanga base. You know the story of the Katanga base? Now,
tell me about Katanga.
I'll tell you about Katanga is in Congo, and the Ethiopian soldiers, when they came back from a peacekeeping mission in Katanga, would sit in that place, and it forms a little bit of a buffer zone between the fans. It is a no man's zone because the soldiers sit there. So that Katanga place would normally be filled to the brim as well, but today, because there are no fans, normally the St. George fans sit on one side, the Coffee on one side, and the Katanga base remains vacant there. So this stadium would obviously be full, and that area would still be empty because it separates the others. It's going to come back to trying to build it from the outside and trying to create the boxes that can help them to move forward. They're tightly marked by two men. The only thing is behind the defense on this other side is two other men from the Ethiopia Coffee side who are unmarked. Now they bring it to the box. Yep, they were trying to hit it down on that right side, but they took too long. Abel Kebede certainly can't do anything with that because it doesn't come to him at all, does it?
Patience should be key, and of course the federation's president in the house.
See the president of the league here, and the officials of the federation as well are here at the stadium, watching intently. This game attracts usually the biggest dignitaries from the St. George side and the Ethiopian Coffee side as well. And I can tell you the St. George chairman cannot be left out of this as well. He's been to all the matches that were being played here at the stadium. So they are in big support of the club every time it is playing, because they've notched the best results so far and have the bragging rights in the derby. I don't think he can be able to miss it. Meyer Davids knows that the statistics are about to change if things don't change on the field, and is issuing very tough instructions here. As Coffee tried to pick up this one, it comes to Gadisa Mebrate. He's lost possession of it. He was trying to get it to Getani Kebede. Getting casual, Gilbert, and that's how the goal was scored by Redouane Nasser into his own net, because everything got so casual. Everybody almost went into a little sleep, and it began to look like a training match.
Yeah, they both slowed down the game in the last 10 minutes. I'm not sure why they've slowed down the game. Maybe we expect an explosion.
Well, they haven't given an indication of an explosion so far. And Kebedre is up at the front on his own. He will need support every time that ball is coming that way. He works hard to pick it up. Brings it to the center, where again Ethiopia Coffee will take it. Tafese Solomon has played it to the right side to Abel Kebede. Tyler Gabertin say, I think I can hear the coach saying something in Amharic, but I think he said pass.
Yeah,
within the Amharic, so he's telling them to run the ball around.
Yes, he's asking them to speed up the passing.
Oh, okay.
They've been quite slow.
Well, look at this one. The goalkeeper comes off his line, but again, He manages to get there as faster than the strikers, but then there's somebody else who left it thinking he was in the offside, and they stop second guessing themselves and just play the ball is the best way to be able to play. Don't imagine it's going to go past. Play it fast, unless you are certain that you are in the offside position, in which case you should have looked and found that out. So it's going to go out to the left side, trying to get some wing pace here and some good space moving in. This will go off the field of play. It's going to be a goal kick.
It's interesting, Bernard, because Ethiopia Buna has eight men into attack. Akin is 7.
This is one of them.
Yes, Akin is 7.
Yes.
In St. George, meaning they've one extra person. All that they need to do is the triangles. They need to form triangles anywhere where the ball is, and they will be able to break down this St. George defense line.
Yeah. But maybe the St. George, the Coffee side, no, maybe the St. George side as well is looking at what they can do in with the triangles and how to break them down as well. They must have prepared them. So it's going to be a throw-in anyway. And if you are good at mathematics, you can calculate those passes and know who has got the higher tally of complete passes and even the incomplete passes as well. As they string a couple more trying to get the ball forward, Kabede loses it. So again, that will count as an incomplete pass. Is this going to be a corner? Yes, it is. Oh, it's going to be a throw-in then. Okay. With Abtamu Tadese playing a little bit too casually, and out on the left side. Comes back into the midfield now. Sent down onto the right. Some quick frenzied defending. Can have a little pain, but I think the clearance was good enough by Gadisa Mebrate, and was also very legal because the ball is what was played. He may get a little pain out of that. It was a big clearance as well, so you've got Mebrate on the ground, filling the pitch in the 63rd minute of the game. The second half not as explosive as the first half, and the passes are not coming as we expected in the second half. The pace has slowed down a bit, even as the big picture of the first CAF president who came from Ethiopia, who's also the founder of St. George, seems to be looking overlooking everybody else in the field. On the St. George side has been very nicely decorated in yellow and also in brown. The first substitution of the game is being made here, and Ebol Yaleo is going to be pulled off the game. They're bringing in another forward, Emmanuel Gabriel Michael. They like to keep him on the bench, Gilbert, and bring him as a substitute. I don't know if they told you why.
I'm not sure. He's also one of the very, very good and fast forwards. He actually finished as the top scorer in the last league on 19 goals. And he's just moved from Mekele 70, who are not participating in this league at this point in time.
That's why I don't understand why they keep leaving him out. But maybe it's because they are, preparing him to see what happens on this other side with the other strikers before they can bring him into the game. Just waiting for his time to take on to the game. I think he'll also come in with fresh instructions as Abel Yaleo goes off the field of play in an injury, and also the fact that he's a little bit tired at the moment in the 64th minute. Temanu scored against the better, who has been substituted. And so now Emmanuel Gabriel Michael is in play for the St. George side. Coffee still are running this one in terms of possession, and they are also controlling the midfield at the moment because they forced the St. George side into a defensive mode. They got two men all the time on either side. Abtamu Tadese. Tunjo just pushes it back. They start the build-up again on the right side. And then a low cross into the box. Nasser, he tried to set it up. A foul will be given just at the edge of the box. It's been committed right in front of the referee. You couldn't argue with that, Gilbert. It's a foul.
The referee is in sight. He's right about
yeah, there it is. You
1
see,
meter, 2 meters from where the action is.
Thank you, Gilbert,
and the culprit
for coming into the new millennium and using the meters in calculation. 15 fouls in total in this game. Ethiopia Coffee having committed the lesser of the fouls. St. George have been high on it, but you can understand as well, they have to tackle very hard as well. They got one man less since the moment that the goalkeeper Matasi was sent off in the 10th minute. So they've played now 55 minutes with one man less. And in my opinion, they're holding on very well. They haven't broken down. Nasser has tried to break them down, missed a penalty in the process, and is now trying very hard to redeem himself. Going to be a free kick here, and Nasser is the one who's taking it. Tries to lift it over the wall, but bangs right into it. It goes out for a throw-in. It's going to be for Coffee. What do you do when you've scored 2 goals and your brother has scored against your team and you've missed a penalty?
Well, his demeanor is, in fact, facial expressions are showing you that he's in low mood.
He's in a low spirit at the moment. Yeah, that's why I even asked you what do you do. He scored 2 goals. His brother scored against his own team, so it's a family thing. And then he misses a penalty that would have put this game in favor of the Ethiopia Coffee side. But that's football. A lot of things happen in a game of football. One minute, Dereje brings it back to the center. This is picked up by Haile Gabratinse. Trying to pump it through the center. As long as you keep him off the ball and the ball goes in the other direction, the defenders seem to think that would be perfectly all right. But St. George now are losing easy balls, and they're looking even more frustrated in terms of the way they are moving forward. The defensive formation is falling into place in good time, but how they move progressively with possession when they pick it up, they're basically leaving Ethiopia Coffee to run everything, Gilbert.
They are not quick on the blocks, and it's because of the numbers that they have up front. They don't have the numbers. They only have that strike.
Well, they do now, but they don't get the ball to him. Although they get a throw-in, I think they wanted to use the counter. I thought they wanted to use the counter-attack. And I'm hoping they use that one, because that's the only one that will serve them, especially when they have possession and they've got only one man at the front. I have just seen the board go up for a substitution with Ethiopia Coffee making that substitution, and Fikri Jesus Birhan is the man who replaces the man who scored against his team. So he replaces Redouane Nasser. And then they have a man down, and it seems to be the goalkeeper. They're going to have to wait until he's given enough medical attention to make sure it's coming into the game, because that's the only substitute goalkeeper they have. They had to rest a midfielder to be able to make space for him. You know, the derby, a lot of things happen at the derby. You didn't expect that the St. George side would probably get their own goalkeeper sent out. And should they then tie the game or even win it, I think they're still going to celebrate the goalkeeper when they get back home. But should they lose it, they'll say, well, we had one man less. The fans have all their men intact. The defensive formation is good. That's a striker, Gilbert, the one who's wearing the what do you call them, the goggles up at the front there. That's him. It's the one who's leading everything, and the defense must follow. The midfielder must also come with her voice as well. See, the defenders are big on the back there. This is Mebrate's goal. He waylaid the defender, and then Mebrate was in prime position for that 45 cut, and then look at where he puts the ball. The other side where the goalkeeper is not expecting it. He knows the goalkeeper's run down on the left side to cut out the distance, and then when the ball comes this side, he knows the goalkeeper can't run the full distance.
Yeah, it's a very good eye contact between him and Abel Yaleu on the right-hand side, and Gadisa Mebrate was brought in place of Adis Gidey, who's still sitting on the bench, doing exactly what he was put in there to do.
Yep, this man is still in the game, Gadisa Mebrate. After that goal, we're still waiting to see some flashes of brilliance from him. He was in the correct position, but we understand he's had to fall back into a little bit of defensive midfield now that the St. George side are one man less. But it's going to be a throw-in, and this is going to be taken by Enoch Adunya, who seems to be lost in terms of where to take the ball to until he finds some comfort in the presence of Tafese Solomon. Oh, some good footwork then. As they try to bring the ball in, but referee says there's nothing doing here. There was no touch to warrant a foul here. It will be at the discretion of Ethiopian Coffee to send the ball off the field of play, and they do. For the fans, it's always just fun as well. That number 12 jersey, I've told you the story of that. They don't use it at all in their team. No one gets jersey number 12. That's reserved for the Ethiopia Coffee fans.
So you're saying that anytime that you see somebody donning jersey 12, he qualifies to be an Ethiopian Coffee fan?
No. I'm just saying Ethiopian Coffee fans wear number 12. So if this man from this side was wearing jersey number 12, he's not an Ethiopian Coffee side. Yeah, of course, he's on the St. George side. So the Ethiopia Coffee side do not assign the jersey 12 to any player. They give it to the fans. It's going to be another throw here that will be done by the Ethiopia Coffee side. No, St. George, I think they've given it away. They have to give the ball back as it was sent off the field of play. Yeah, that's a sportsmanship gesture. So they have to give it back to Ethiopia Coffee. St. George almost started the build-up without considering the sportsmanship gesture. Abtamu Tadese plays it back into the midfield, midfield where the defenders of Ethiopia Coffee have come to. They're enjoying the space. Tafese Solomon is as they play it out to the right side. That's a pretty easy way to try and start a run here. It's not always going to work your way. And I think that Abo Kibede realized that a little bit too late after he was already starting to run forward. But look at where they're taking it back to, Gilbert. They are going to start. That's the last man on the Ethiopia Coffee side, believe it or not. They're deep into the half of the St. George. They're raiding that side.
Now that's where you need a lot of triangles. At that particular point, you need a lot of triangles. Now the mistake.
Well, here they just need a runner, and it's one-on-one. If Kebede can get the better of the defender, Bebe Tilahun, he would have been in a very good position to check the scoreline for his side. But Tilahun stands his ground, sends the ball off the field of play. It's going to be a throw-in. His captain is working extra hard for his side. Getari Kebede is waiting for the throw-in to come in from Enoch Adunya. He's making himself available at every moment. Although this has been easily taken by the Ethiopia Coffee side. Bringing it back into the midfield. Start the build-up on their side. They're not in a hurry. They're running the clock down. But it's 2-2. It's not that it's any team has the advantage here. In fact, the only advantage we can talk about in the field is a numerical advantage, which is currently with the Ethiopia Coffee side, who have one man extra on the field. But they're unable to permeate the defense, Gilbert.
Why are they slowing the game down? Look at how they started the first 10 minutes of the first half. No, they were ferocious. There was a lot of speed, you know.
They're trying to bring this in from across. But you don't know whether it's going to be swinging inwards or outside. That's a better way to pass it down on the right side. The cross comes in a 45. Enough men trying to pick it up. Adunya chest it out. But I think there was also an offside. Yeah, Nasser knows again he's missed a chance then to put this ball into the net. But Adunya was there just to make sure that there will be no mistakes. I think it goes out for a corner. I beg your pardon, it's a corner. Adunya had the last touch on it. Right on the line. Well, they want to build it right into the net then. And again, they're going to be pressing. It's not going to work that way, and they know it. The only way to make it work is if they go in with it. Here is a through ball, and a lovely through ball this time. And then it's cut back. Abtamu tries to go for it. The shot by Nasser is chested out by Enoch Adunya.
But look at the time, the chance that Nasser has just wasted. He had everything in front of him. Pick the spot.
I'll tell you, look at something else that Nasser is doing. No, here is, it's been chested by Adunya. Look, he runs straight to the referee saying it's a handball.
He's trying to chip
just
it.
Always appealing to the referee. He should just play his game. Let the referee make the decisions on his own. I think Adunya used the shoulder just at the tip there. Just where the arm connects with the shoulder to set the ball off the field of play. That's allowed. That's control.
He should have used some power. He should have put some power
shoot
behind
the
that
ball.
goal. Yes.
Okay.
He wanted to chip, he wanted to score fancy goals at this point in time when he has already lost a penalty.
6 penalties. Ethiopia Coffee with their 5th one. And Gilbert insisting there should have been some power there. I think he has no sympathy for Enoch Adunya's shoulder. He's thinking it should have been dislocated by that shot, a hard one that should have come from Nasser. A little touch on the head will make it available for the goalkeeper to handle with the hands here. And then to start the build-up again for the Ethiopia Coffee side. They're firmly in control of this match. They're firmly in control of the possession. They're just not in control of the final touches. And 3 that should have gone in have all missed. 2 of them having been pushed off on the line, and 1 having been pushed off the field of play for a goal kick by the scorer, Mr. Nasser Abu Bakr. It's going to be a foul here that will be given to the St. George side.
Putting a lot of pressure on Frimpong Mesa on the left. That's the left
They
back.
are.
Yeah.
And Abel Kabeda needs to bring in more crosses then if they hope to get the better of this. They're the ones who are doing the pushing here. Here's a new substitution then. So they probably want to change how they're playing, Gilbert. This is Yebsira Tesfaye. And as a midfielder, it means they want to actually get some control of that midfield. Talking about that just a few minutes ago, they need to get some control over that midfield. It's being run by the Ethiopia Coffee side.
Yeah, they need some energy levels in that midfield because they've been overpowered by the Ethiopian Buna midfielders. They're quite numbers in that pack. So break it down and also try and help out in the attack.
They need some energy, says Gilbert Salebo. And I'm wondering whether the beer St. George gives you the Gilbert or the Ethiopia Coffee itself gives you the Gilbert. Either way, this game needs a shot of one of the two, a dash of something to just make the adrenaline kick a little bit higher than it is at the moment. 77 minutes played. This is too close to call as we go towards the 80th minute. It could just be a painful one for anyone here. It's a small cushion to sit on for the two sides, and with the possession being at 71% for Ethiopian Coffee, they surely should be the ones doing something with it. In the second half, they've completely run it, they've completely controlled it, they just haven't finished it, Gilbert.
They just haven't finished it, and you know, at times when you try to slow the game down like this and St. George happened to get a goal, at that time when you want to speed it up, the game is over. So they need to take advantage of that one man as soon as possible.
Oh, this is Abtamu Tadese. They get a man on the right side, waiting for him to get into a better position. There was every indication that the shot was going to come from Tafese Solomon. He's not been afraid to be that adventurous, but this is what he should have done earlier on, bring the ball onto the right side, because he's not been doing that. They have the numbers, they're picking up the possession. Frimpong is being forced to run in between two strikers every time. Here is Nasser. And then again they pull it out to the right side, waiting to displace one of the defenders before they can move into a position for the kill, and tormenting them by sending it both right and left. Oh, this is what we are talking about. When there is a miss like that, tries to see the goalkeeper up at the front. Maher Davids is telling everybody, get out of your area, come up to the front. He's telling them the best way to defend is to attack. The goalkeeper has taken the throw-in. And then now St. George pick it up. Goalkeeper will already have gone to his area. The first time we're seeing them in this half in about 10 minutes of play here. They're waiting for the man. A nice one to Kebede. He's gone for a shot, but I think he's been ruled offside. He knew it. Benny Mina would have told you that he knows he's already going to be called for offside, so he's not working very hard at it. You and I get a chance to see it again. He's onside.
He's onside. Number 4, Wadmena Dereje, is actually putting him onside.
Yeah, that's from us where we are sitting. We'd probably think that that should have passed for onside. But the second assistant is an international referee, Gilbert, so we will go with him and his decision. He is also a lawyer by profession, so you really want to get to his wrong side, because
he knows a few magistrates.
No, he is just a good man who is a lawyer. So he's got a diploma in law and a degree in management, and has been a referee since 2002 in the Premier League and 2008 as an international referee. So obviously he sees it with the naked eye. It happens. It happens. The referees in Europe are currently being helped a lot by the VAR. In this case, we are the VAR, and we can't get to him, and he can't get to us. So we'll give him the benefit of doubt. We're playing the 80th minute of the game. The scoreline is 2-2. This fixture has been drawn 16 times in the number of games that have been played in the league as currently constituted. It's a 41st ሸገር derby, and I doubt that he's about to add another draw to it. I still have a feeling, Gilbert, it's going to be a painful loss or a very joyful win by just one goal, and we have some very explosive 10 minutes coming up.
You've just said it, and you've grounded Bernard. There's going to be some wailing after this match, either on both sides. If Ethiopian doesn't utilize the opportunities, something is gonna come out of this.
Wailing with joy or with sadness?
With sadness.
Oh, okay. I know a friend of mine who wails when he's happy as well. When you surprise him. I get you, Gilbert. Don't worry about it. You're very right. It's one of those games that you say end up in some painful losses of only one. And for now, it's very imminent on either side. So much so that you won't focus on the joyful win on that side. Lydia Abebe Tafese, the fourth official, says, no wasting time here. Get to the line and take the throw-in. And is giving that instruction to Frimpong Mensu, who seems to be wasting time. Manages now to send it into the area, picked up by the goalkeeper. Why would St. George want to waste time? Are they comfortable in just sending it in a draw?
Well,
do you think?
They're comfortable. I mean, they're so far comfortable in the match ending the way it is. It will be a big bonus for them.
Well, here is a chance for Ethiopia. Kofi now. Abtamu Tadese is looking for Nasser to see whether he's going to place himself. Three men are tackling Abtamu Tadese. They really do not want to concede a goal here, Gilbert.
Yes, the defensive organization has been absolutely fantastic for St. George. They are trying to ensure that no balls are being played through the midfield.
Goes back to Tekle Mariam Shanko, who plays it out to the right side. Very careful not to make any mistake in front of goal that can give an undue advantage to the St. George side. Now Tafese Solomon comes back to assist their defense as well. So this is going to go out to the left side. Tadese has played very reservedly today, in my opinion. Not been rolling too much into the box. I think they are equally careful of not giving too much spaces. Not a good shot that Tadese takes. Yeah, he doesn't work his way today. The right foot just defies him. And for Arage Kasai, he knows he's got 15 years at the club, and then he has come back by public demand into the derby. I think he would be content with a win, but as currently it is going on the field, he might just be happy with what they have at the moment. But it's going to be the stretcher is going to be called into the field. These unnecessary delays will add anxiety at the end of the 90 minutes, because the time will still be added to the added time.
At least two minutes that will be added onto this one. So they just need to stop, play acting and let the game do the work for them.
Yeah, I wonder why he's deciding which place to be taken to and not where the medics are taking him to. You know, you're supposed to exit the field from the nearest point, and he wanted the longest one. When Megan is just worried about how many men he's got to take care of in defense at the moment. Is a defender on the Ethiopia Buna side. He's already come in for a yellow card for some very hard tackling, so he's being careful to just make sure that nobody waylays him and causes him to make a mistake. A free kick, the goal kick taken by Leon Birhanu, the second choice goalkeeper, who had to come in because Kenyan goalkeeper Patrick Matasi was red carded for taking one for the team. You wouldn't blame him for it. He had already been rounded by the defender Abubakar Nasser. Kofi push it back into their own position, and we'll want to start it again in the midfield with the help of Tafese Solomon. Always seeming like they're stringing up something to go for a kill here, Gilbert. but it fizzles off in front of the yellow jerseys and doesn't go beyond that. In fact, the only time they've gone past the yellow jerseys in defense is if they're coming in from the flanks or if they're targeting Abubakar Nasser.
You're right, Bernard. They slow down the game and allow St. George to reorganize defensively, and you can see the numbers that are in that St. George's half. About 9 players, all of them behind the ball, and it becomes very difficult to even get some passing lanes.
And they're forcing them to send the ball out. This gets into a goal kick. They're forcing them into those areas. They're boxing them out of the corner areas, not allowing them to come into the box now that they know that that's where they're using. You can see the hard work of Kabede, you know, coming back into defense to try and hustle for that ball. He's a striker up at the front, so he's leading also on the other side, and he knows that he's got to wait for it there. The 65% has not really worked for the Ethiopian Coffee side, and in the 16 goal attempts, you know, most of them have come from Ethiopia Coffee. Only 7 on target. We've seen 4 goals so far in this one. That story in statistics is the true story of what we're seeing on the field as well, on the ሸገር Derby. So they'll be forced to play that way, Gilbert. They will have possession, they'll try to go on the flanks, they'll bring it back to the center, there'll be a backline organizer of 4, they'll dilly-dally with it at the box, they'll go to the flanks, and then it will fizzle off there. And that's the way it has been legible, at least for the last couple of minutes.
Yes, and look at the reorganization. It's quick reorganization by St. George's. Now they have to slow, Ethiopia Buna have to slow down the game because now they have been outnumbered defensively.
It goes out to the right side again. Probably a belter build-up. Well, you should see the way the yellow jerseys are moving in, and now they find some space on the left side. The flanks is where they have opted to use most of it, and then this one goes begging. Didn't get picked up by any of the strikers. It goes up the field of play. It's going to be a goal kick. 87th minute of play remaining. Both sides must show some character in defending and attacking for the next 5 minutes, Gilbert. The fans obviously are showing it in advance. Maher David is saying, get out of your own half.
Yeah, he wants his team to move up, but look at the way their team is moving up. It's right maybe about just a quarter from their own.
They're worried about being hit on the counter-attack.
Yes, they're very, very scared. Look at how deep they're playing, and it becomes very difficult for Buna to crack a whip.
Okay. This begs another question about whether sometimes the players just don't listen to the coach because they know they can be hit on the counter if they come out of that line. And they would rather stay in the line than go out on the other side and wait for the ball. It's pushed back into the center by William Solomon. And they'll be looking for that help coming from the left side again. A little footwork to try and get it to Tadesse, who's lacking just close there. They're enjoying denying them possession. They're enjoying denying the St. George side possession, but St. George is happy to sit back and soak in the pressure. They're trying to just make sure that they don't let this side pass and get into the box. And I think Ethiopia Coffee know exactly what's going on as well. They're trying to make sure that they spend as much time as they can on the ball and then look for that one sneaky attack, get into the box and kill the game. Yeah, when you lose possession, it all changes. That tackling is going to gift it in favor of the St. George side. He's complaining that he couldn't take a run. He was under the risk of being brought down. It's going to be a free kick for St. George. I tell you, they're not in a hurry. They'll leave it to the goalkeeper to come all the way to take it.
And then retreat.
Yeah. You know, it takes 30 seconds off the clock. It's going to be the 89th minute of the game before they take it. And at least that's a chance to get to push the St. George players back to their own half.
Yeah.
Liam Birhanu pushes it far forward. Kebede heads it, but doesn't get it to Eno Kadunya, who was running on the flanks. They're going to have to come back into defense to try and stop the Ethiopia Coffee side from getting them an advantage here. 89th minute, Gilbert. Give me a summation before the summation. What do you think about the derby so far?
Well, it's live up to expectations. We expected some goals in this derby. We've also seen some very highly technical players and very, very tactically organized teams from both sides.
This derby has always produced a massive number of goals. 73 goals have been scored in the derby before we were coming here, so +4. It's 77 goals scored Number of draws will increase to 17 if it ends this way. The goalkeeper recovers on time and then it's put back into the net by Nasser. He's going to get the match ball. But he's also going to be penalized for going over in celebration. But Nasser scores 3 goals here. Sparks of a celebration. At a time when we were talking about it being a painful loss for one team and a joyful win for another team. And the statistics on the draws are erased. New statistics must be put in now. And I'm sorry, but Nasser is going to be out of the game if he gets a yellow card. I think the referee is waiting for him. He's going to just be lenient to him. Because he had to go out and over-celebrate. He's a lucky man.
It's a follow-up, and again a mistake by the goalkeeper who was coming to at least replace Batas Liam Birhanu. With a feeble shot, he fails to hold it. And you want to thank that young man for his 7th goal in this league for being so quick.
Crestfallen. He's not a happy man. He knew they had this one tied up. He knew they had this one tied up. Matas is watching in disbelief out. This man takes home the match ball. Abubakar Nasser scores again in the 90th minute of the game. And he covers the mistake that was made by his brother by scoring in his own net. St. George 2, Coffee 3, courtesy of Nasser. What a game this has been. And at that moment, it was just about pushing the ball around. I think it made the defense go into a little bit of a sleep, expecting the same kind of run. The goalkeeper, first of all, is the one who lost concentration. This is going to be a free kick that will be given to Ethiopian Coffee. Tafesa Solomon going down. And it gets too hot now. You don't even need a shot at the moment. It's just too hot on the sides there in celebration.
It is too hot.
That's the 12th man. Did you see the 12th man?
Yeah. The fan.
Yes, he's the 12th man.
Yes, we talked about tears that will start rolling. And surely, the man who has brought all these tears is none other than Abubakar. And the coach, Mahil David, knows that they had this game wrapped up as a draw. And now he has to rework something out for the next maybe 1 minute or so.
Mario David is watching in disbelief, thinking that he had it wrapped. He had told his men to come out. The danger was if they come out too far, there would be problems. And now for St. George fans, they're going to be thinking twice about what happened there. The fans on the Coffee side are in a big celebratory mood, ranting their voices into the air in celebration for the side. We got 1.5 minutes remaining. This is going to be going out of the field of play. It's going to be a throw-in, and it's going to be for Ethiopia Coffee. Might just change the statistics in their favor here. Only 6 times have they won the derby in the league as currently constituted. Fans are a celebration. Time quickly moving past. And for them, that would be the best thing to happen in a game like this. For the St. George side, it's not the best. But there's celebration at the stadium, Gilbert.
There is celebration at the stadium. My only worry, Bernard, is that at lunchtime we may be forced to eat while standing.
Why?
Because all these fans, you'll find them in and around the stadium eateries.
Okay.
And, you may want to.
Will they be standing?
They'll be seated. You'll have no seat to sit.
All right, don't worry, Gilbert. I thought you said you don't eat lunch. Okay, Gilbert.
There'll be coffee in abundance.
Okay. It won't be given for free for sure. Coffee. The Buna costs 5 beer or 6 beer. And Tafesa Solomon, we got a yellow card here. He didn't want to get off the field of play immediately. Wanted to waste a little bit of time here to buy it for the Ethiopia Coffee side, who are currently now anticipating the referee's whistle to go anytime now. It's going to be a free kick that will be given to the St. George side. That red card and the 1 man less in the St. George side initially was very well covered, but at the moment the Coffee side is celebrating a big win in the ሸገር Derby in Addis Ababa. Tekle Mariam Shanko is ecstatic about the fact that they have beaten their arch rivals and increased their statistics to winning at least 7 games in the Premier League in this very, very big fixture, usually in the calendar of the Ethiopian Premier League. And with the resumption of it, oh, there's a yellow card. You must remember you can get a yellow card even after this. And it's going to Gadisa Mebrate. I don't know, it must be some nasty thing that he said to the referee, and he still gets yellow carded. But the statistics now, at least for today, will favor the Ethiopian coffee side. They've had the possession percentage, and they also have controlled the midfield in the second half, had total control of the game, and they got the goals as well. And that's what it takes. This man needs to get the match ball because of the hat-trick that he has had. 3 goals. First one, a penalty when he was brought down in the box, which he planted into the net, sending the goalkeeper onto the wrong side. The goalkeeper had that just come into the game. And then his brother scored in his own net. This is actually Nasser's brother. Puts the ball into his own net. And the scoreline went to 1-1. He left it to his brother to make amends here. The cutback comes from Abel, who puts him through nicely. Beats the goalkeeper for a second goal in the 25th minute of the game. 2-1 is in favor of Ethiopia Coffee, but Mebrate then runs past all the defenders, brings in a nice 45, and Gadisa Mebrate puts it in the net for 2-2. By the time of going into the break, this was very well and square until things happened and the goalkeeper doesn't take the ball into his possession. That one mistake that he makes is the one that is penalized, with a very speedy Nasser getting onto the rebound and putting it in the net for the 3rd goal for Ethiopia Coffee in the 90th of minute, leaving the scoreline happily on the faces of the fans of Ethiopia Coffee. At St. George 2, Coffee 3, the ሸገር Derby has spoken in favor of Ethiopia Coffee.
ክብራትና ክብራን የ2013 የቤት ኪንግ የኢትዮጵያ ፕሪሚየር ሊግ የሸገር ደርቢ ጨዋታ በኢትዮጵያ ቡና 3-2 አሸናፊነት ተጠናቋል። የሁለቱ ቡድኖች የጨዋታ እንቅስቃሴ በሁለቱም 45 ደቂቃዎች ላይ እንደተመለከትነው ነው በኢትዮጵያ ቡና 3-2 አሸናፊነት ተጠናቋል። እዚያ አጠገቤ የቅዱስ ጊዮርጊሶቹ አሰልጣኝ ማሂር ዳቪድስ ይገኛሉ። How was the game, Mahir?
Wow, what a performance from us. It's unbelievable to be down to 10 men early in the first half. The fight, the discipline, responsibility of the players, fantastic. Okay, a mistake in the end, we concede, but really, did they have a solution? I don't think so.
What about the result?
Like I said, okay, the result, we lost the game, of course, we have to move on. The championship will not be won today. I said it before the game, it's a 3 points. They don't get 4 points or 5 points. We will go right down to the wire. And if I see a performance from us like we did today, if we take it into the next game, I'm really positive.
Thank you, coach.
Thank you.
ክብራትና ክብራን እንደተመለከታችሁት እንግዲህ የመጀመሪያው 45 ላይ 2 ጎሎች ተቆጥረው እንዲሁም ደግሞ ሁለተኛው 45 ላይ 1 ጎል ተቆጥረው ጨዋታው በኢትዮጵያ ቡና 3-2 አሸናፊነት ተጠናቋል። አቡበከር ናስር 3ቱንም ጎሎች በማስቆጠር ሃትሪክ ሰርቷል። በጨዋታው እንቅስቃሴም ጥሩ ሲንቀሳቀስ እንደነበር ይታወቃል። የሸገር ደርቢ ከረጅም ጊዜ በኋላ ለመጀመሪያ ጊዜ 5 ጎሎች ተቆጥረውበታል። የኢትዮጵያ ቡናዎቹ አሰልጣኝ ካሴ አራጌ እዚህ አጠገቤ ይገኛል። አሰልጣኝ ካሴ አራጌ ቡድናችሁ አሸንፏል። ውጤቱን እንዴት ትገልጸዋለህ?
ውጤቱ ጥሩ ነው። ያው የምንፈልገው ውጤት ነበር። በመሰረቱ ያው ሁሉም ጌም ላይ ለማሸነፍ ነው የምንገባው። ጨዋታውም ጥሩ ነበር። እነሱ ያው በጊዜ ነው አንድ ሰው በቀይ ወጣባቸው። ስለዚህ ጎዶሎ ነበሩ። ያንን ትርፍ ሰው በአግባቡ ለመጠቀም ነው ያሰብነው። መጀመሪያ አካባቢ ትንሽ የመዘናጋት ነገር ነበር። እነሱ ሰው ከወጣባቸው በኋላ እነሱ እንዲጫወቱ ጊዜ መስጠት እድል የመስጠት ሁኔታ ነበር። በዛ የተፈጠሩ ክፍተቶች ነበሩ። ከረፍት በኋላ ግን እነዛን ክፍተቶች ማጥፋት እንዳለብንና ያገኘነውን ትርፍ ቁጥር በአግባቡ ተጠቅመን ለማሸነፍ ነበር። እንግዲህ ተሳክቷል መጨረሻ ላይ።
ከታክቲክ አኳያ ካሳዬ ይዘህ የገባው ኢምፕሊመንት ያደረከው ታክቲክ ሰርቷል ማለት እንችላለን ከውጤቱ ጋር ተያይዞ?
አዎ እንግዲህ ማዳበር የሚገባን ነገር እንደተጠበቀ ሆኖ ማለት ነው። ያው እነሱ የቁጥር ጎደሎ ስላላቸው አብዛኞቹ ራሳቸው ሜዳ ላይ ተከማችተው ነበር የሚጫወቱት። ስለዚህ ልንገባበት የምንችለው የትኛው ቦታ ነው የሚለው ነገር በትዕግስት መጠበቅ ያስፈልጋል። አብዛኛው ቁጥር ራሳቸው ሜዳ ላይ ስላለ የግድ ትግስት ያስፈልጋል እና ጥሩ ነበር።
በአጠቃላይ ውጤቱ እንዴት ተገልጿል? የመጨረሻ ጥያቄ።
ውጤቱ ጥሩ ነው በአጠቃላይ እኛ የምንፈልገው ነው እነሱም የሚፈልጉት ነው። ስለዚህ በማንኛውም ጨዋታ ላይ የምናገኘው ውጤት ወሳኝ ነው፣ ጥሩ ነው።
አመሰግናለሁ ኮች። ክቡራትና ክቡራን እንግዲህ እንደተመለከታችሁት ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ ከኢትዮጵያ ቡና ባደረጉት ጨዋታ 3-2 በሆነ ውጤት የኢትዮጵያ ቡና ቡድን አሸንፏል። ከሰዓት ላይ ደግሞ ሰበታ ከተማ ከጂማ አባጅፋር የሚያደርጉት ጨዋታ ይጠበቃል። ነገ ሐዋሳ ከወላይታ ዲቻ፣ ድሬዳዋ ከባህር ዳር ይጫወታሉ። የገና ዕለት ደግሞ ፋሲል ከሲዳማ ወልቂጤ ጨዋታቸውን የሚያደርጉ ይሆናል። በአጠቃላይ በኢትዮጵያ ፕሪሚየር ሊግ እስከ ዛሬ በተደረጉ ጨዋታዎች ኢትዮጵያ ቡና የዛሬ አሸናፊነቱን ተከትሎ በ13 ነጥብ አንደኛ ደረጃ ላይ ተቀምጧል። ሀዲያ ሆሳዕና በ12 ነጥብ ሁለተኛ ደረጃ ላይ ተቀምጧል። በወራጅ ቀጠናው ላይ ወላይታ ዲቻ በ3 ነጥብ 12ኛ ሲሆን ጂማ አባጅፋር በ2 ነጥብ የመጨረሻ ሁለተኛ ደረጃ 13ኛ ደረጃ ላይ ተቀምጦ ይገኛል። ዛሬ ከሰዓትም እንዲሁም ጨዋታ የሚቀጥል ይሆናል። በዚሁ መሰረት ሰበታ ከተማ ከጂማ አባጅፋር የሚያደርጉትን ጨዋታ በሻምፒዮኖቹ ዓለም እንድትከታተሉ እንጋብዛለን። ክቡራትና ክቡራን መልካም ጊዜ